Looks like Sam and Tom are, uh, I'll turn our off for the time being.
With his behavior. Did everybody hear us?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, I think we're good. Okay,
Right.
I'm gonna go ahead and call this meeting to order. Folks, before we get started here, yesterday, something happened. I'm gonna bug out of this meeting a little early. Got a little something going on with the lymph node. want to make a big deal out of it, but I'm just gonna slip out of here. I informed Kyle, just having a hard time talking, other issues. I gotta go get it checked out. So before I do go, we've got a couple items on our agenda. I want to modify that up a little bit. So first, if I could get just introductions and we'll get that consent agenda voted in, that'd be great.
We'll do our roll call here. Kyle. Here. Mike.
Here.
Steve. Here. Ed.
Yep.
Dave's here. Tammy.
Here.
Tom.
Here.
Very cool. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted, with the exception of Director Seven, and Kyle will be making his presentation today as well.
Get a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'd like to amend the consent agenda.
Okay.
We have in here, and I'm sure it's just a technical error, but where I reviewed, and I have not reviewed anything. It was just our conversation we had. I have not reviewed any documents or anything. It's in the consent agenda.
Oh,
No, if you want, yeah, that's fine, sure.
Get up here, it had to do with the, if I remember correctly, the attorney piece or part of the Spencer thing that we had a conversation on.
Yeah, that's all public anyways. That's all we're done. Spencer.
what was the question, Dave?
It said that I reviewed, and I have not reviewed any documents. I haven't seen it.
Oh,
But you're talking about, so, but you have a question on Spencer and,
Here it is right here. The Western title demand. Under the consent agenda, it says Dave and I reviewed and completed the Western title demand notice for the Anderson Spencer ownership change.
no,
I
yeah,
don't
that
know
was,
what we're talking about.
oh, that
here.
was me. That was that one where the title company had that $20,000 stipulation on. And it was determined in our last meeting, it was gonna cost us like 50, 60 grand or 40 grand, a lot more to try to recover time and effort to get the 20. So to make it not a bone of contention, Spencer Anderson was part of the assist to us to vacate that 577 road, the whole Demonte thing. And so he was working in good spirit. So we all approved as a board to waive that and just we just needed to get the document set up and signed. So that would be, so when the paperwork went to the title company gets it, says, oh, okay, it's satisfied. That's what you and I had a conversation on it, and then I signed the document. So that's of course.
And the document's gonna be,
It's already done.
it's already done. Yeah, it closed about a week and a half ago.
so we have that on file and then.
And he not yet, but we will. Yeah. So that'll come in through I can't remember her name, but the title company that deals with a lot of property changing hands in Three Rivers. And so that will be sent, that document will be sent in once it's recorded.
Okay, then I do not need to amend.
Okay, all right. All right. So I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
As amended.
Well, he doesn't
I
need.
don't need to amend
okay.
it. We're
Oh, okay.
clarified on that.
Okay, yeah. Sorry for the ambiguity.
A second.
I second it.
Yeah. Mike, second.
All right, we good? Are we ready to vote?
Yep. Steve,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So we're gonna, because I gotta bug out of here early here, I want to cover the things that might require a vote that I might need to be a part of. So there's really three things. So whatever our goals are, or our agenda is, it's all gonna get a little modified. I took it with, I just informed Kyle. Kyle's gonna finish everything up for us and continue the conversations and so on and so forth. But before I bolt to West Lynn, before I bolt out of here, I just wanted to address those items up front right away, and then we'll go from there. Steve, I know you were gonna have some items that you wanted to talk about for the new business. We'll get to those, but let's get to this stuff first, and then we can move on from there. So first, quick up, we had a meeting. Kyle, Tammy, and I spoke with Bruce to get answers. Kyle, give us an update on, he can give us an update on some of the conversation we had regarding that. But I just forward the board and both Michelle and Mary. Mary, since you're the chairman for Rules and Regs, that he has some concerns about about the fee schedule and about the language that's written in the
I've read that really quickly, and most of the things that he's pointing out are consistent with what's currently published and has been published for years.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
yeah, so it's none of the issues that were outstanding as of the last meeting, as best I can see, are actually part of his comments.
I'm just informing you that
Okay.
based on we covered it for about 45 minutes and then we sent him the docs just so he had a reference. And he agreed to do a quick, not a deep dive, but a quick look at it to just be able to advise us moving forward. In a nutshell, my two questions for him were, as written, is that document going to put us in risk if we put it on it and approved it today? And he said, no, but there's some concerns in there that need to be addressed. So I will look those over, do a cursory look, and then forward to you and let you guys decide what you want to do. That's the update. Okay. So nothing to defend, but if you want to take a look at it, and you guys can make your decisions based on that. But at least you got something to go on, and it was reviewed by Bruce. Probably a good idea just to have him do that. It's the right thing to do. The other item that we wanted to talk about was, I wanted to make sure that when we left today that there was because this isn't a bad thing. It's just, I wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page moving forward, because we're getting ready to start crafting up the documents for the packet. I talked briefly with Michelle, and we just kind of had wanted to spend today kind of making sure we can figure out a place to house that document as it becomes a dynamic document, and it's going to be a working document based on input from certain people that have certain responsibilities for the updates. Tom might be one on the financial piece. Kyle's going to go over the language and stuff written for the ask for the two assessments. But Michelle, if I could make a suggestion, it might be kind of cool. If we could take, because I don't want to go through and try to figure out Dropbox and sign up and do all this stuff and just have to figure all that mind stuff out to get that to work. But if we could, just as a suggestion, house that document, the dynamic packet, so to speak, if we could put that somewhere on the website that's not just blaringly out there, but I mean, you can put it just about anywhere on the website, someplace, call it what you want, but at least it'll be somewhere where we can all go into it, take a look at it, make take our adjustments separately, send them to you, and then you can add them into the document. So you'd be the keeper of the document, but we wouldn't go in and just change the document anytime I wanted, but we could go in and see where it's at, one spot, and then give you the stuff that needs to be changed, and then you can go in and change it. Okay, so that would be just a great way to do it. Kyle and I spoke on it a little bit yesterday, so you guys could deep dive into that a little bit more. But That way there's one spot for that document to be housed, so everybody has access to it. And then if they need to make a change, oh shit, I forgot this, then we just give you that change to you, Michelle, and then you can just go in and update it and then.
So just, but one comment, I want to make sure we're all crystal clear on this. So we want a place that's work in progress place that people could look at, but the gatekeeper of the final document, the communication that's sent to our committee goes through Michelle. She's the gatekeeper. So, if I have something, I'm going to send it to Michelle or post it up to the website. But the final piece that goes out, somebody's responsible for that. And that's Michelle. There are people in this room that are responsible for what language goes into that document. Like I've been taking some responsibility, not because anybody asked me, I just took it on the language we use for the ask, and we'll go through that today. But the final look and feel and creative piece is Michelle's responsibility.
That's correct. So I know Kyle's been working with the communication team as like the board liaison, so to speak, and keeping us all informed, especially with me. Him and I work a lot behind the scenes and a lot of the stuff, but instead of having two people hit Michelle, we want makes it easier. So, that's the other thing is, I just want to make sure we're all clear, and this isn't, an issue one way or another. I'm not trying to make this a big issue, but, right now, the way I interpret our strategy moving forward, that Dave's, and we talked about this, Dave's going to be, he's responsible for the voting, and he'll form his team and his process in person at the meeting. But he's also heading everything else up online, through the website and so on and so forth. The assessment, once this thing's passed, because I feel very confident we're going to pass these assessments, but once they're passed, I want to make sure that we all understand that the process right now is Fieldstone will be sending out the assessments and collecting the money. That's the process that they've been doing since 2014. It's proven, it's a good setup, and I don't think it's appropriate to try to change that up at this stage of the game and putting that burden of responsibility onto anybody else other than who we've already contracted with. So when we walk away from here, if we need a vote, fine, but in either case, I want to make sure that that process is in place and we're all aware of it and it's not out there and up for misinterpretation. How y'all feel about that?
What did you say? That they send out the packet?
No, that's not what I said.
What-
What I said is the packet and the information that gets sent out for the voting and so on and so forth, that'll come from us.
We send out the assessment then.
But the assessments will come from Fieldstone, as they have been since 2014, and they will collect the revenue from the assessments and then provide the normal reporting and so on and so forth for us to track and do whatever we want to do through the office.
So you're talking about the bill,
Yeah,
The invoice,
invoice from.
we're
Field.
talking about the packet is going to go out as it always has from us. We create the creative, goes to Julie Tone, her company. They send it out. We provide her a list that goes out. On May 1st, not April 1st, on May 1st, somebody needs to send a bill. Historically, for the last 12 years, that bill has come from Fieldstone. I know that is not everybody agrees that's the right way to do that. And so if we're going to make a change, we need to discuss it and vote on it. And because I think there are some people in this room that think very strongly one way or another. And we just need to make a decision and move on.
right now, that's the plan. That's what we contracted for. If somebody wants to change that, then that's the point of discussion. Because we need to get beyond that. We need to because we're getting ready to put this stuff out. We did change it from 60 days to 30 days notice. So the notice for the increase, or the notice for the dues, payment will go out May 1st instead of like April Fool's Day, which was dumb. So, yeah, so it's 30 days out, but Fieldstone, they administer the assessments and they collect the assessments and they provide all the reporting and information and all the stuff that they need, and should do, and have been doing, and whatever our requirements are for tracking.
Why did we change it to 30 days to mail out and pay? I thought we changed the 30 day, you had 30 days, like late, you could be 30 days late. I thought that's what we did.
No, before the notice went out in April 1st.
Before you moved off of that.
And we're like, we didn't need 60 days out. The reason why they did it and I don't know, I know why they did it, but I don't understand why they did it. And that was so they could try to collect money a little earlier than necessary. It's a false premise. It doesn't hurry up anything. It just confuses stuff. So that's easy stuff. That's low hanging fruit. 30 days, May 1st, it goes out, due date's May 31st. So it gives them 30 days notice to pay. But Fieldstone will send out, just to be clear, Fieldstone will send out the assessments. They will collect them, which are the collection.
Which is
and all.
the way it's worked, in my understanding, that's the way it's worked for the last 12 years. Is that right?
That's correct.
What's that? The collection piece. So there's
What was different about the collection piece? Instead of going to Fieldstone, they were coming into the office?
Take it to Fieldstone, they boss checks and stuff, so they take, and they charge a fee. And they take it to the office that it's charged.
right. So, but in my mind, two different issues. One is who's physically sending the bill? And then on the bill, it'll say, send a check to this address. Currently, the address is Fieldstone. It's P.O. Box in San Francisco. And I had a conversation with for the first time to better understand kind of that process and why, and lost checks, and I'm one of them. So so Fieldstone sends them out. It goes to Fields. We all have always had a policy where if you feel more comfortable writing a check and dropping it off at the front office or giving cash at the front office, we have a policy to cover that. Okay. None of that has changed. I think Dave has been pretty vocal that he wants all accounts receivable for the dues assessment. He would rather that come through the office. I don't want to put words in your mouth, Dave, but that's accurate, right?
Yep.
And I've talked to Steve, and Steve has said, well, there's a lot of cross-pollination of data and a lot of insight we get when we get, and it helps with PropTIA.
Right.
And so there's some added value to understand who's writing the check and that kind of thing. And so I see both sides. I've talked to Tom, and Tom says, hey, this is the majority of our money comes through. These are our licensed, bonded, fiscal entity that is responsible for all that. We are not internally, to my understanding. So there, are there risks there or not? Those are all just decisions we have to make. So I kind of felt like not everybody's on the same page on it. We need to discuss it, make a decision, and move on.
Can I make a comment, seeing as this is a treasury matter?
Yes.
And I'd like to make a correction to your statement, Kyle. The checks do not go to Fieldstone. The checks go to what was previously Pacific Premier Bank. It is now Columbia Bank. These drop boxes are the bank's drop boxes. Fieldstone never physically touches the checks. It's just like when you mail in a check for your utilities to, well, we don't have utilities here in Three Rivers, but folks that, when I mail a check to the city of Tigard for my water, it doesn't go to the city of Tigard. It actually goes to the bank that the city of Tigard contracts with. And that's exactly what happens. That's why your check is saying, I forget exactly what city in California, but that's the remittance location for uh, what used to be Pacific Premier Bank, which is now Columbia Bank. So Fieldstone's not touching the checks. They go directly to a bank.
That's consistent with what I heard as well.
Yeah, the other thing to just, is Fieldstone's process for this is automatic. It's auto set. They use a lot of processing involved in this. If we took that over right now, they would have to be able to process the information, that they would have to basically start doubling up. It would add more time and personnel issues to be able to handle that, because they're still under contract with us to handle our third party financial piece. So, if the board wishes to go that direction next year, fine, let's have some time to review it. But I don't want to, my point here is to make some kind of a change at this stage of the game on such important issues. I just don't see that it just doesn't make sense to me to put that time in. And I'm still a little foggy about the responsibility piece. Last year, there was a handful, 5, 6, 7 items that came up. And a lot of the issues are not when there's people that are personnel that are out there doing this stuff, and it's all done by human beings, and to a certain degree, human effort, things are going to happen. Mistakes are going to be made, and it's really about how you address the mistakes when they happen and how you correct them. And putting that responsibility onto a third party exempts us from having to worry about that. And I'm just cautious. Be careful what you wish for. If the office starts doing that kind of billing and mistakes become made because of a Dropbox or a Appfolio or some other process that gets put into place, this could quickly turn around. Instead of bad mouthing Fieldstone for past performance, it's going to turn past performance with the office. And that's something I'm just saying. Right now, we're paying them $2,700 a month to not have to do all that kind of work. Monitor, double check, make sure that everything works out, address where we need to. But if we take over that responsibility and mistakes are made, it's going to put whoever's doing it at risk. And again, for $2,700 a month, we don't have to worry about it. Why do we want to take on that responsibility? And why do we want to put all that money or all that time and effort into it? I don't see that. So y'all know where my position is on that. But we just need to get behind it. So one way or the other, after today, we need to just move forward with that, because we're getting ready to put all this stuff out into the packet and notify the owners when the time comes.
I think Fieldstones or whoever you send it to, they can make mistakes too, just as much as the office can. I don't know if you can just say office makes some mistakes, because they can make a mistake too. I mean, you can send checks. Like Kyle lost his check. I mean, I send checks sometimes, they get lost in the mail, and
Mistakes absolutely will happen, no matter who. The question is, what problem are we trying to solve? And to me, is when you make decisions, is this going to save us money? Is it going to allow our information to be more accurate, in terms of our data that we have in our database? Who is it going to help us be more financially secure if there is an issue? But what problem are we trying to solve by making a change? We currently have Fieldstone, who's responsible contractually for our accounts payable, accounts receivable, and financial statements. They are our financial business partner that we pay to do this stuff for us. I can't see a scenario where we're going to save any money by taking that responsibility in-house. It's going to be a lot more work. The people in the office are going to be doing that instead of doing something different. Could be a good reason to do that. The biggest positive I see on this is really understanding our internal, our customers, our landowners, and being able to tie it to Prop T and knows who signed the gate. From what I've heard, that seems to be one of the biggest pros. But I don't know, Dave, you're passionate about this. I don't know who else is passionate about this issue, but maybe kind of walk through why we'd want to make this change. What benefit are we going to have as a company? Yeah.
So what has the negative been when the office does take the money? What's the negative? What's not worked before? I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
No,
I
I've
give
never-
you a brief
I've never had an
example.
issue with that.
If I can,
I've never had an issue with that.
Yeah. Hold
But go ahead, Tom, you.
on, Tom.
Well,
Yeah, go
well,
ahead.
I mean, Mike, we have inconsistencies with the ability to get our cash drop done in a timely manner on a monthly basis. We went all summer, had problems. We had problems in the last for October and November, and that's a fundamental, simple thing to get done, and it doesn't get done, unfortunately, for a variety of different reasons. But it doesn't get done. We need to close our month on on the last day of the month, and we struggle sometimes to get the cash drop handled. If we can't get that system handled, I don't know why anybody thinks that it's a great idea to start collecting checks from 700 some odd people.
My question is, if there's a problem, why aren't we fixing it? Why come people aren't dropping it off? I don't get that.
Well, that's the cutting edge of the conversation right now.
Well, let me go back to this. Now we're going from everybody sending a check in for our dues, and now you're talking cash drops. This is two separate issues right here. When
They're
the
two
checks come in,
processes. They're two processes, and
two
we've
different processes.
80% of
yes.
our people live on the other side, and they're not coming to the office. It's a treasury matter. This isn't in my opinion, this is not an office matter. Yeah, sure, you can vote it in if you want, but this is a treasury matter. It's not an office matter.
Aren't you responsible for the cash drops, Tom? You're the treasurer.
Well, let's understand the current process first before we start throwing out, let's speak from strength.
Here's strength. I'll go with.
So how many cash drops have you done, Steve?
I'm moving on to my reason for wanting it down at the office, but it could be changed if Fieldstone would communicate this information. So I'm looking at a bill from Carson Petroleum. And every time they have a bill, and this is by email, they don't mail me a bill. On the bottom of it, it says, please detach and return this portion. So I'd have to print it. And it's your address change and your updated information. So if we had something like that that came back to us, who would do that? Would Fieldstone do that? You just told me that it went to the bank. Pretty sure their bank's not.
Well,
gonna-
there's a little more process involved with this, but I will tell you that Fieldstone does have accounts that are on a reoccurring basis. They're part of our that we use all the time, and so there's process.
And see that
Bills,
that's not coming to us on a regular basis.
us as in you or us as in the office.
Well, I am the office when it comes to property.
Okay, so we're talking separate process there. We're talking gate and we're talking two separate things here. This is recommendations from Tom and process related. I understand where he's coming from. If we have inconsistencies now with basic stuff, why would we want to take on something even more responsible and more complicated?
Well, I just want to kind of
I'll just finish one thing
resync.
first.
Okay.
One, I haven't heard of one problem with the office money being taken.
Nobody's ever said that.
Yeah, so.
There hasn't
we
been.
have heard, Fieldstone having a problem with.
That's correct.
Money, including myself. It took 2 months for my check to get deposited to San Francisco. And I had to call and find out where it was at.
So,
So I don't do it anymore. I do it at the office. They haven't had a problem at the office collecting money or reconciling people's bills and accounts, but Fieldstone has.
This,
So if we're-
this
if
is
we're
not
talking
just,
about-
this is not just people walking in to pay. People are mailing their assessments to the office also. So what's the difference if it's coming to the office versus Fieldstone is beyond me why this is a problem. For the amount of information we get, excuse me, that we gain from these people paying directly to the office, do we know who's paying, who's accountable to that lot? Which is what we're going back to the Proptia thing. We're missing that information.
That's
Getting that.
That's the part that I heard, and I do see value in this. So you're saying is if I get the bill and I tear off the thing and I say, oh, by the way, my email address has changed, my address has changed, this is my phone number's changed,
Yes,
and
yes.
here's my bill. And you send that in.
Yes.
That's the information that you'd like to see
That's what I would like to see. Yes.
for Proptia.
Yes, I would also like to see that they actually paid correctly because we just made a deal a few months ago that they can't have credentials if they don't pay the correct amount of money or are in arrears.
well, I have no dispute with Proctia working with our certain platform. It's great. I mean, what you put into that, I'm not trying to, butter you up or anything. I'm just saying it's working pretty damn good. You put a lot of effort in it for great. That is an ancillary system, right? And the better it is information coming in, the better your information is going to be.
Right.
Get it?
Which also goes right to HOA Star.
But which I get
Vice
also.
versa. Vice versa.
Which I get also, HOA start is not something, it's out in the industry. It serves its purpose in different organizations and so on and so forth. I understand that. We've been doing our homework on this stuff. But I'm still concerned about making this kind of a change right now before we're getting ready to put out probably the two most important items we have moving forward, at least for the next, who knows how long. So, I'm just really cautious about making these kind of changes, especially after spending time with Julie and doing that. I've done that, the treasury piece for a couple of years, and I understand. I've been through this whole process and I know how it works. And I know that with human error, no matter who it is, you're going to get those few if 700 property owners, we have 7 issues, that's 1%. 0% is better, but it's going to happen. And it's really, how do you handle it when that happens? And who's going to be responsible for correcting those issues and being answerable for it? I just think making a change like that right now, especially after seeing the process and how automated it is, it would make it more difficult for Fieldstone to be able it would be running 2 parallel systems at the same time with us collecting. And I just don't see it as
We're always gonna run
viable.
parallel systems.
Never gonna get away from.
Yeah,
Well, that's fine, but I'm talking primary versus secondary.
I get what you're saying. So tell me the fix that you've made with Fieldstone.
There's no fix. As they come up,
What's the fix? Did we?
you're asking me for a specifics on individuals that I have no background on. I know who they are and I don't know what the situations are.
No,
But I do know
we
that
have-
when the issues come up,
Yeah.
you can address it with Fieldstone directly and let them handle it.
So I had a direct conversation with Julie, and I said specifically, I personally wrote you guys a check. It was lost. We received a delinquency notice and we paid $10 or whatever to cancel our check and resend a new check. And she explained to me the process that this goes to the bank's PO box. They collect those, they scan them in, it's all automated. Obviously, something went wrong. She didn't have a great answer for, what happened. And so, but those types of problems could happen either way. They will happen anytime you bring in, somebody's got to go pick up the mailbox, somebody's got to go scan the check. Somebody, their process is exactly like ours. We already do that today. The piece that I do like is that if somebody sends in a change form and the communication back and forth between Fieldstone and us, that is something that we can improve on.
Well,
That-
definitely, but you didn't get an answer from Fieldstone about the fix for what you just had your own issue with? Cause you weren't, if it was just one person like you, where it ran through the machine and it missed a digit, I could get it, but it was more than just you.
How many was it?
I thought it was like 25.
I think we were north of 20.
Yeah.
Well, what's the actual number? If we're gonna be tearing this
Well-
thing down to pieces, where's the data? Where's the information? Other than just throwing stuff out, it seems like always has, and it's where's the specifics?
7 people that came to.
And that worked, that worked.
No,
Again,
right, it's always worked well in the past. I mean, it goes into the cash drop piece, it's fine. People pay cash,
What's broken about it?
nothing. There's nothing through the office is broken.
So
We're talking
so-
volume, we're talking volume.
So the status quo is Fieldstone sends out the bill. That's the status quo. The status quo is people mail their off, what's printed on the invoice that we receive it goes to Fieldstone. We have always had the ability to go to the office if people want to do that, right? That's the status quo.
But it's not on the bill that says.
It's not on the bill itself, right?
Yeah, it's not on the bill that says you can take it to the office or you can
Right.
mail it. It's
So
it's a choice.
what we're asking for is our office staff to take on additional responsibility for which we already pay somebody to do that.
Yeah, I'm not looking to save money on it. I'm looking to be a better system.
So I think that having a tear off, change of address form, that should be great. I think personally, I think nothing should change. I still might go to the office and hand it to them. That's fine. People have the ability to do that, but Fieldstone's responsibility is they're our accounts receivable people.
At
Yeah.
a minimum, what I would like to see at a minimum is Fieldstone's gonna send the bill. That there is a change of address and information in that bill. The other thing that I'd like to see is that you have an option of mailing it to Three Rivers address. Or in person.
So what we're,
Along with the San Francisco address. I'm not saying you can't send it to San Francisco.
Right.
I'm saying that you should have an option, not just one option. And if you use a credit card, it's gonna cost you so many more dollars to
right.
use a card.
How many people pay on credit card?
What's different from that right now? That's what we have right now.
It's not in that.
It's just not in the packet to send them to confuse us by having 2 locations as an option. But anybody can, if they elect to do that, we've always been accommodating.
I'm absolutely baffled here that we can sit here and have an annual meeting and all the votes that we tabulate. The office deals with all that gets mailed in, sent in to us. They don't tabulate anything. They collect all that information.
Mhm.
They run their spreadsheet. So we can eliminate the second vote. They're doing all this stuff. What's different than when they mail in a check and we can verify those people to those checks to those properties and simplify our system here? And it zips through the machine and off to the bank it goes. I don't get the difference. I really don't.
Well, I think it just comes down to financial responsibility, and it comes down to the amount of time that the office is going to have to take doing that versus doing something else. We already pay somebody to do that. I think by having the change of address or change of information form, I think that's a huge step, and I think that's probably something we could implement. But taking on the financial burden and the time necessary to do something of which we already pay somebody to do, that to me does not make sense. It just, I mean, doesn't make sense. You know, and then it goes back to, you know, well, do we need Fieldstone at all? You know, why, you know, I thought we fired them, right? And then it goes back to, well, there's a reason we brought Fieldstone in. We used to do all this in-house 14 years ago. And the reason we brought Fieldstone in is because we wanted a third-party company that's independent, that knows this business to avoid fraud. That's why we brought Fieldstone in originally. We had a fraud issue where you had everything was done internally. And are the people we have in the office now are the best we've ever had. They're talented. They could handle this. With this board and that group, everything works great. But this board will change, and I guarantee the people in the office will change. And we're going to set something up that's going to be, we're going to have to deal with 5, 10, 15 years from now. And the reason we went that direction was it made financial sense. It was reduced our risk. It saved us money. And so I get it. I mean, there's pros and cons to both sides. I mean, I get it, but ultimately, you know, that's why I wanted to let's get beyond. We have people that are passionate about both sides to this. That's what we do as a board. We make tough decisions and then we move on. So if we need to vote on this, let's vote on it and move on.
Also, we've got Fieldstones too, because they can handle more than 500,000 money in the bank. Cause you know, when you have so much money, is that the reason why we went to Fieldstone too? So they can put it in one account instead of several different accounts?
No, well, I can give you the history on that. I'll be as brief as I possibly can. So when I got into the job, taking over for Dan Mayer, for my 6-month hitch, just like, you know, some of the other board members down in Tampa, I took over and I got into the treasury deal and I looked, and the money was scattered over all the banks in Madras and the credit unions. And our money for the marina was earning checking account interest. So I took all of the accounts, shopped, and found one bank that is certified through Oregon to be an HOA LOA bank for this purposes, and that was Pacific Premier, which, by the way, Pacific Premier now owns Umpqua and Columbia Bank. So that's all consolidating, or one of them bought Pacific Premier, but that's all consolidating. But in either case, I took it all to put it under one roof to make it easy so that our money can be managed properly and that we get a better rate of return on marina, which, you know, we were getting 5% or whatever it was right off the bat. We were putting 35 to 40 grand in interest into that account every year instead of $500 or $600 or $700. So that's the reason we went with Pacific Premier. They're a bank that is designed so that you can diversify a portfolio and you can gain a better rate of return. And they're designed to provide a service to an HOA LOA instead of just scattering the banks around. That's how we ended up with Pacific Premier. That's it. It's just simple. It's just as simple as that. So, a few other things.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Zach Porter.
Oh, yeah, Zach.
Hi.
Sorry. Yeah, you recognize that.
The gate is dead out there. We were able to get it open, but the battery's dead because Christmas tree was plugged into the outlet.
No,
Oh,
what
that's
are you
not
supposed to try and get in? QR, did you use a QR? Did you put a number?
It's completely dead. The whole system is dead. There's like the cube where you punch in the code on the gate when you come in. I have a sticker on my headlight that
Yeah.
automatically opens. It turned green from blue to green.
Right?
You're the guy that puts out stickers. But it turned blue to green, but the gate wouldn't open. And the batteries are pretty much dead. So we were able to get it open, use the manual override, you know, the release.
Are you in here on an emergency by chance?
On a what?
Emergency. Are you here on an emergency? Or
No.
Okay.
How did you open the, how did you open?
Oh, I saw a badge thing. I thought you might have been.
He's my neighbor.
No,
Oh, I thought LCF and I wanted to know if there was a problem getting somebody emergency services.
I just left a
Oh.
message with Randy. I don't know if that's the
Oh,
phone
okay.
number I had. That might be tied.
You get in there,
So there's the manual.
yeah, how do you get in?
It's not hard to get that little lock, the little tab on the inside.
Yeah.
That's pretty flimsy metal, so just pop that thing open and it pops right open.
Perfect.
I mean, it popped open real easy and then you just pull the spring and
Yeah, just do that. Okay, all right, I'll be back.
did a little.
Well, we're in the middle of something here, so before.
Yeah,
we
sorry
finish-
to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, it's perfectly appropriate.
I saw the cars, I figured, hey, these must be the better.
We're just in the middle of a,
Screws from falling off.
the middle of a month board meeting. It's okay, we're in the middle of a deal here. We'll be right up. Is the gate open now?
Gate is open.
Okay. All right, well,
And that out gate works fine.
How to.
It's open now.
But yeah, tell Gary to bring his own battery.
Thanks, Zach.
yeah, so that's the history of Pacific Premier Bank. Again, the reason we contracted, was for accounts receivable, payable, collections. We're farming out that portion of the office, and it was a very reasonable price.
Right.
And paid less than 32 grand last year. Divide by 12, it comes up to 26, 6 something and change.
And just to add to this, because I still get asked this question. I thought we fired Fieldstone.
You'll get that question at the
Okay,
meeting.
so the answer is 2 years ago.
Don't leave, Steve. We're still, okay, sorry.
Yeah, two years ago, there was a proposal to have Fieldstone play a more active role in managing our entire association in terms of managing the office, managing the financials, and literally playing a leadership role in our company. The board then would manage that entity. It was over $100,000 to do that. The landowners took a vote and we said, no, we're not interested in that. We want to do more things internally. Okay, so that piece, that management piece went away. They are not our management company. They continue to be our financial business partner for accounts payable, receivable, and financial statements. The board manages them. They do not manage us. And we pay them what I believe is a reasonable fee to do what they do. And, so that's the answer. Is that an adequate answer? I mean, or is there still questions on, I thought we fired Fieldstone. Is that?
Well, it's not, I'm not gonna bring it up, but there's people gonna bring it up.
No, but I think we as a board need to all be on the same page on what the answer is.
So here's a personal question for Fieldstone. If we're not supposed to use them as a management company, just an accounting company. So this is what we're talking about is not accounting, but we have other places that are.
What is not accounting?
What do you mean?
Have other no, I'm saying that we can use it as an accounting company. We can't use it as a management company.
No, it's
Some things
they're
that
a
are-
management company, but we only use the financial portion of it.
I get
Out of
that,
the-
I get that. I'm just making a comment. I'm trying to just talk. You're not letting me.
Well, make a comment that makes some sense.
Whoa, let him talk, let him
Finish,
talk,
Chad.
let him finish.
What's your question?
Not
Not a question, it's a comment.
Comment. So Fieldstone, we know we need Fieldstone. I don't have a problem with that. I've just said, my comment was, you're gonna have people at the annual meeting that are gonna complain about Fieldstone being mentioned so much and managing us instead of just accounting us. So you're gonna have to explain that. That's all I wanted to say for that. So be ready for it.
Does anybody in this room feel like,
Thank you for informing me of what I already know.
does anybody in this,
Talk like that to each other?
hold on, guys. Does anybody in this room,
Me.
does anybody in this room feel like Fieldstone manages us?
I'm questioning it.
Why? Where's your basis of foundation for that?
We'll talk about it later. You want to get this over? I'll bring up those exact items
All right.
at a different time.
Okay, well,
Right now, let's finish this. What, are we gonna vote on this? Is that what you want to do? You want to vote on this so that it's mailed out by Fieldstone, just like it has been? Or are we gonna modify it a little bit? What are we gonna do? What are you guys willing to bend on? What are we willing to bend on? This is horrible that half the group and the other half of the group aren't getting together. I was hoping the last time that we got everything straightened out, we were together. Now we're not together again.
Well,
It's a pain in the ass is what it is, Ed.
I understand that, but we all have to, we all have to be in the same step moving forward. There's still this common notion out here that we're trying to get rid of Fieldstone at some point, or that we're anticipating so much bad blood over the
We did not bring that up. I didn't bring it up. I know Dave didn't bring it up. I don't think Mike brought it up. You brought it up, that we're wanting to get rid of
You
Fieldstone.
just made a comment on Fieldstone.
Okay, well, but obviously there's people that we have different opinions on the role we want Fieldstone to play. Currently, they are our accounts payable, accounts receivable, and financial reporting company that we use to do that for us. Third party, independent, license bonded. And what we're asking, or wait, what some people are asking is we change that. If we're going to change it, we need to vote on it and make a decision and move on. If we want to keep it the way it is, then we don't need to vote on
And
it.
we don't need to vote on it. That's just it.
So if somebody wants to make a motion to make a change, that's fine. And that's what we as a board members are, we have to make tough decisions. That's what we do. That's our job.
So you guys talk a lot. So right now, way as it is, you can send your check to Fieldstone or the office. So the change that you want is totally to Fieldstone, right?
I'm not asking we change anything.
I don't understand what we're voting on for a change.
We're not voting on anything. It was just a comment that I don't want to make any changes to the current processes in place right now, just so that we're all on the same page. It's just a clarification that, there's going to be no changes to the process. If somebody wants to make a change, they can make a motion and make a vote for a change right now if they like. But right now, there's no changes until somebody makes a motion.
So-
It's just to get us all on the same page.
My question is what do we gain by waiting a year to look at making a change? What would be the gain by waiting a year to move to something different?
When you say move to something different, are you saying moving?
Okay, earlier it was brought up that we don't want to make any changes. We'll look at it next year. What do we gain by waiting? My question to you is what do we gain by waiting that long to do that?
The only thing I can think of, first, I'm not for it, but I'm just saying to try to answer your question as best I can. I don't personally see that whatever that we have a broken process right now, except for those one-off times when something just happens. So I'm for not making any changes at all, but it would give us time to be able to do a little more investigation so everybody knows exactly what the process is right now. Because right now, there's a couple of us that have a pretty good grasp of how things work from a process standpoint. I'm not at the office every day. I'm not part of that piece, but I understand how that process works because I've been involved with it for so long. I don't think Steve quite understands it yet, and I would hope that if he wants to make a more informed decision, he has a more informed decision and can formulate a better understanding. You got to roll up the sleeves, dive in, and go through that time trying to figure it all out, figure the process out, instead of trying to base a platform on an unknown. So if you do a little more time to get some investigation in, then you'll have an understanding, and then you can make a better presentation and a better argument as to the reasons for the change. Again, going back to Kyle's point, I just don't want to, I didn't want controversy and conflict. I just wanted to make sure at the end of the day, when we left this meeting, that we know that this is the direction we're marching and not to muddy the waters with any anticipation of making a change with the process or, continuing with the prior issue of replacing Fieldstone. We did get away from all that. I understand that. But we have a conflict today about who's going to send out the assessments and collect the money in the bulk going out. We handle the one-off stuff, as people like, if they wish to here, but it's a small percentage over the mass. So that's it. That's all I wanted to do. So right now, there's no vote on the table. There's no motion to change. But we're all gonna go the same direction unless somebody makes a motion and we vote and we make a change. If there's a change, then okay, I'm for that. If 4 people vote yes, then, it's Dave, office, you guys got a lot of work to do. So there you go.
All I was trying to say, at a minimum, what I would like to see is that change of address option in the mail out. I don't care who mails it out. So that people could put that in there. That would be very valuable information to get back. It was mailed directly to the office, so it doesn't get lost. So it'd be a whole nother thing that just added to the bill. The other is that you give the landowners the option to pay to San Francisco or you pay to Three Rivers Admin. Where do you want to send your check? Because I want to send it to the office, so I want that option in writing. I want to be able to see that. I know that, but not everybody does know that. And so I want that information given out to everybody that they could call the office and pay over the phone by credit card. That's all I was bringing up. No, nothing to vote on. Just, yeah, we can make that happen. All we got to do is reach to Fieldstone and have them put it in the packet or the bill. Should keep that word bill. We're talking about the bill. So Dave and Michelle, rest is on you guys. I mean, what do you want? I realize that what we want is to transfer it over, but I can tell you right now, I don't think we're going to win the vote.
I like the idea of option to pay both ways. There's a lot of people, they feel more comfortable to go to the office and pay, and I think that's important to people.
When I've gotten that bill, there is no choices in there on how to pay. It looks like that's how you have to pay.
Right,
There's no
right.
choices in that.
Well, it's not a bad idea, but let's just shoot some holes in it then. So what would be the reason that we'd want to do it, and what would the reason be that we would do it? What's the positive?
We had 0 failures for the 97 that came in.
Okay,
When you get the bill, so when we're talking about an increase in dues, when you get the bill from Fieldstone, as Steve said, it doesn't really give you any option of like what could that look like. I guess you can mail it in, if you want to pay it online, there's a fee associated with it. If you're being clear that when you send it into the office, and you're not paying by credit card or you're sending in a check, just some clarity around it. There won't be a fee to it. It might encourage people to actually vote yes for your proposed increases, because some people are going to be extremely strapped by these proposed increases, and $10 as a fee is a big deal to them.
And we don't charge a fee for our credit card processing.
Our credit.
Yeah, I think that was Michelle talking, I'm guessing, but I could barely hear. I pretty much couldn't hear what she was saying. So if anybody in the background could come up to the mic so we can hear on Zoom, please.
Good. Got it, Tammy. What she was saying is that if you pay via credit card via Fieldstone, there is a service fee associated with it. If you pay through the office with a credit card,
You're still service fee.
there's still a service fee associated.
They get a lot of cash that comes in.
Right. So last year, Tammy, we had about 97 people out of the 700-ish that decided to pay, just dropped it off at the office, and that worked well. And so that means that there was 600 and some that went through Fieldstone, probably because that's the only option they saw, because that was the only option on the card. Anytime you run 2 systems like we do, we want to have our own database internally, and we are in a much better place because of that. but that also has a set of challenges because you have two sets of data. You're always trying to merge and purge, and there's it's no different than any other company that has multiple systems. Is communication has to flow both ways, and that's always a challenge. So I think the change of address form, I think that's a really good one. I think that is something that we can look at ways to make happen. I don't know exactly how that information flow would take place because those checks go directly to the bank. That check would be attached to the change of change of address or change of phone number or change of email address. So how does that then get to either us or to Fieldstone? We'd have to explore that. I don't know.
I don't know how it gets to Fieldstone that the bank received a check either.
Because it automatically, so it goes to the bank scans it in, and it goes directly into our bank account. Fieldstone doesn't even touch it.
But how does Fieldstone reconcile whose check that was?
That's part of the cash drop. That spreadsheet that they use.
No. I think we're talking about two different things.
Different?
Two different things here, Ed.
There's gotta be some sort of electronic process that Fieldstone gets and says Joe Blow paid
Right.
$400 or whatever it was. So
Oh, you mean the assessment piece that goes out?
the bill, I'm gonna stick with bill because I know.
Okay, the assessment bill for the annual dues. Yeah, that's coded and everything else. It goes, it's all automated.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Just as a worker, I don't see a problem with Fieldstone just including a pamphlet or one-page thing that trifolds. That says change of address, email address, whatever. When they trifold it, it has our address on it and it comes to us.
That's Maylet.
This is Maylet.
Yeah. Hi, Maylette. Thanks. All right. So I think from my perspective, part of this is a conversation with Fieldstone that we should have that says, hey, when we get a check, it's very valuable for us to understand who sent it, what property is it tied to, what's their email address, phone number, address. And we'd like to incorporate that moving forward.
Get that information already? That information.
That's the problem is if Fieldstone gets it, we do not. There's no, that information flow is not going both ways. I think that's a valid conversation we could have with Fieldstone. It says, hey, we want to improve the process and we want to include that. I think that's very reasonable.
Well, that's a fair statement, but it's the first time I heard that there was a problem with
That's
that.
the whole reason we wanted to change.
That's the problem they're trying to solve.
That's what we're trying.
You mean you're not getting any information in the last year's assessments, because we haven't had any till yet. That's the last year's assessments, those assessments that went in through Fieldstone. We did not collect any of that data information for tracking purposes on who and what and where, any specific report.
How many times did it take for us to get that information, Michelle? How many times did it take for us to get that information?
7.
Yes, so over and over and over.
During that 6-month transmission, real tough time when it was like try to figure things out because everybody bailed pretty much. Okay.
Even during and ending and after.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a valid concern, and I would be surprised if Fieldstone informed us that they don't do that or can't do that. I don't say,
But
Tom, that's a Tom.
it's a conversation to have with them that says, hey, listen, because I could actually see an argument of saying, listen, Fieldstone, if you can't provide us that information,
That's a problem.
I understand that might be problematic for you, but that's the information that we need to do a better job. And
Yeah, I don't know what happens to Raceland. I can only comment on what I did at that particular time. And I never had a problem with it. Anytime I needed information from them, they would get it from me. So it's basically the relationship.
So can I make a recommendation that, that a quick conversation is had with Fieldstone, with Tom, you're part of that conversation. And, you know, either Dave or Steve, is part of that conversation, says this is the missing piece of data that we'd like to get moving forward. And let's explore ways to get that, make that happen. Just, and have a quick, you know, change of address form, how that would come in and where that would go. To me, that's an easy one to solve. And, when, I think we do that, and, because if we get that, you're happy, right?
I want.
That's what you want. I mean, I can't imagine the office is raising their hand saying, hey, I want to throw a bunch of things on my plate that's going to be duplicate work already. I mean,
Actually, they are saying that on the
That.
plate. They are asking for that because it's very difficult to know who's supposed to get what without that information. And especially when
who's supposed to get what? What do you mean by that?
you walk in there and want a credential for your rig, they
You're
look
talking
you
about
up.
gate
Yes,
stuff,
they
gate,
look you up.
how to
you
get,
know? Yes.
how to get credentials to get into the gate.
Well,
This is-
do you deserve one?
Right,
Are you actually the owner? Do
Who's
you
the owner
pay your
who's paying?
pay?
Have they
Are
been-
you in the arrears?
right,
Where
right.
are you? Just be, you know, they don't just go off the basis, say, yeah, I got a piece of
Got
property
property
up
up here, I'm getting-
you know, I've been here for 40 years. Matter of fact, I was here when they filled the lake.
Right,
You know,
right,
where's my credential?
right. No, I get that. I was under the assumption that we were almost beyond that. Like we built our database up where we know who's who in the zoo now.
It's better.
It's better.
It's not 100% like it needs to be.
Okay.
So we know the office feeds Fieldstone every year before they do their assessment. They feed them the information of who we currently have in the HOA services. So that's their Fieldstone's check and balance to make sure that they have the right information.
Right.
What we don't get then is a report back of like, here's ones that are different.
Right.
You figure out which is the right address.
Right. Which is a process that probably needs to take place monthly or quarterly that says, hey, let's just sync everything up. Even if it's a manual process. I mean, we're not talking thousands of records of properties changing hands here.
No.
We're probably talking about 5 or 10.
And it's even less than that, because when a new property owner comes in, they bring in their deeded paperwork. And that copy goes to Fieldstone already. So the office has their process, they set or copies over to Fieldstone. So we're even talking less than.
Right. And it's been a painful process to get where we've got, but now we're probably 90+% accurate. And now we're only dealing with the changes every single quarter.
The other piece that we're missing is, for instance, I was gonna bring it up with Tom about the delinquent dues. They would know who's delinquent, and they could make a phone call before the, you know, after the 30 days, they could call, they could be the person to make a call. So, and if they're delinquent, we're not supposed to be given
Yeah, but that's what we pay Fieldstone for on the collection policy side. That means we would be,
pay them to collect our.
no, but they send out the notices, they send out, we have a collection policy that's in place right now utilizing Fieldstone.
Right. I don't think it's ever been the office's responsibility to pick up the phone and call somebody and say they're delinquent.
Years.
Collections?
Yeah, they've been our collection, yeah. Yeah, Dave and I went down and spent 3 hours with them on the whole process. I know we're getting off track here because, you know,
Well,
we were, you know, we're getting way into the weeds on this stuff, and it's good stuff to satisfy, you know, to talk about, I get it. But on the table is, you know, we either change the assessment process or we leave it alone. But if we leave it alone, we're all lockstep together and we'll address it at a later time. Or if we vote, if somebody makes a motion, we vote and it gets accepted, then Dave and his team are gonna have to, they're gonna need to go to work and they got something, and we'll all support, to make it work.
Right, right.
Does that make sense? So that's what so we need to put that in.
Well,
I got another one.
all right. So I suggest we leave it alone, but I also suggest we have a conversation with the key stakeholders of the missing data piece and our expectation about communication and that we expect Fieldstone to share information with us. We define what that process looks like, and we have that conversation with them, with the treasurer, because this is all of our revenue, and I'm happy to help kind of broker that conversation if we need to, but I don't see, well, that's what I would suggest. We leave it alone exactly the way it is, but we have a conversation with Fieldstone about the change of information. Unless somebody wants to do something, unless you guys want to make a motion to make a change.
Any motions for a change on anything, or just stay the course that we have right now? All right, then we'll just move.
I'd
on.
like to make a motion that we change and give the association members the opportunity to pay directly to the office. I'd like that included in the packet. They need the option.
I second that.
Okay, a little further discussion. So what happens if that turns into 80% of the information of everybody takes advantage and it doesn't go? What's the ramification of that?
See anything.
Yeah, I don't, yes.
The office would, just like Michelle said, the Three Rivers gives Fieldstone the information so they can reconcile their end. And if we're reconciling our end correctly, they're getting better information from the start every year.
So for them to provide us the information that you're asking for, more specific information on these ad hoc report requests, anything that comes back, they're a database. We have a question, we ask them, they'll send that data to us. It's just that's what they do. It's in the deal here. So if we collect, I'm just saying, if we collected all of a sudden the largest amount, everybody decides as a membership, instead of going to Fieldstone, 80, 70, 80, 90% of that comes through our office instead of going through Fieldstone. Question is, what ramification would it have? The only thing I would say is my last conversation with Julia, she was cautioning that only because their system is automated. And so for them to give us information, they're going to have to hand key a lot of that stuff that they get from the office to Fieldstone. They're going to have to hand key that stuff in. Right now, the assessment process is automated. So, unless there's an error or something, it's all set up. And that may be even something that we would probably, as an office, next level, if we ever took it over at some point, would probably be the natural course of evolution, is to set up an automated process. But right now it's automated through Fieldstone. So if it was like 10% or 15, probably wouldn't be a big deal. But if it becomes a higher number amount, I'm just saying, be prepared for that. That's a legitimate concern that we address with Fieldstone.
The big thing that you would catch with that is if there was 80% that paid it to the office, that lets you know that that's what the landowners, how they want to pay their bill.
That's a good point.
If there's that many, they made that decision. That's how they want to pay. We need to listen.
We definitely need to do that. I would say, I would caution, my logic would always be caution of, do we make changes based on what we think or based on what we know? And that would be an unknown at this point until that
And
took place.
this would be a great, yeah.
Yeah, or you can just put it as an item, Yeah, I'm just saying, I just want you to be
So-
prepared of that.
So the motion on the floor is to have the option for the landowners to pay assessments to the office or Fieldstone.
Well, specifically, you want to include it in the packet because they have the ability to do that now,
They do, but it is not
but we're not promoting it.
correct.
Yeah, it seems like a simple request and an easy enough to do. I just want to make sure the ramifications. Tom, you got anything you want to lay in on that? Since you're treasury?
Yeah, I'm not in favor of it. I think everybody's assuming that the post office isn't one of the contributors to the lost mail. And that would happen if people, potentially would happen if people mailed it to our office also. I just think we're out here with a solution looking for a problem.
Oh, my questions.
I have a question. So, when, I guess in the past, when the checks come in to the office, how often are those brought to the bank to be deposited?
Yeah, they no longer go to the bank to be deposited. We have a check
Scanner.
scanner at the office, so they can be done the same day. But typically, we don't get checks in the office on a consistent basis, so they go every Friday. Anita scans whatever is in the office.
Okay,
If
so
it's a check,
Check.
next question then. If people are coming in and paying with cash, how often is that being brought to the bank then?
So in May, when the majority of people came in, it went 2 times in May. Other than that, we get like $1,000 in the bank in cash that comes into the office. Most people, the cash that we get that comes into the office now is regarding the garbage. So we get a very low amount of cash running through that office now. So that goes in once a month.
When it goes in once a month.
You're gonna get the options, Tom.
Any other questions on this one? I just want to help move that along. All right, call for a vote.
Okay, Steve,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Kyle,
I'm a no.
Tom,
No,
Tammy,
I'm gonna abstain. I don't feel like I have sufficient information.
and I'm a yes.
That comes down to me. All right.
Does it?
Yep.
You got Tammy
break.
abstained.
Tammy voted.
Tammy,
So it's 3-2.
Oh,
she abstained.
You abstained?
She did. I didn't.
I misunderstood her then.
Tammy, did you abstain or did you say yes
Or yeah.
Correct. I said I am abstaining because I don't feel like I have enough information. I think that if I'm not for or against this at this point in time because I don't feel like I have enough information. I think that if you're wanting a proposal to maybe change something, it should you should write something out, put a procedure how it's going to happen and stuff. But so I'm not for it because of that, but I'm not against it because I don't feel like I don't know, it might be a good thing. So this was kind of brought up, I think, at random, it kind of sounds like, and without a plan behind it. So that's the reason why I'm abstaining.
So it's 3-2.
3-2.
So how does that work?
3-2, 4.
3-2, 4.
Oh, 4. I'm done.
So that will be, the option will be included in mail out from Fieldstone.
So who's going to write the language on that? Who wants to be the person to put that language?
We'll do that through our committee.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we already have, or we should have a sample bill, and we'll just put it into that.
Correct.
Yep. Okay.
Makes sense. Mary, I hate to, can I get you to scroll that just a little bit there, please, just so I can. Okay, so packet, and change. Kyle's gonna get that. I got it. Continue entering prep, vote count process. Assessment, billing and collection process. We just talked about that. Rules and
So
regs. we talked about.
FYI, if you guys are sharing a screen, nobody on Zoom can see it. Wasn't aware of that.
Oh, thank you, Tammy. We'll share.
I need to cut out of here real quick, but I wanted to make sure if there's any voting stuff I can have, and then I'll bolt confidentiality agreement. That's one that Dave proposed to us. I'm in full agreement of that. I think that's appropriate and it helps with collection
Yep.
piece of.
I mean, is that something we need to vote on, or, I mean, I think the people in the office need to
Fill it out.
be under non-disclosure. They're gonna have access to confidential information. To me, that's just like a no-brainer.
Me too. So I'm okay with it, but I didn't know if we needed to vote.
Well,
if
the only
anybody
reason,
against
the only reason we're hung up on this is I put it out in an email for everybody and it has to be unanimous by everybody for me to institute that, and it was not. And so
Okay.
that's where we're at now.
So I think it's fine. I'm totally cool with it. Anybody against that at this point?
Did we hear from legal counsel?
We didn't really talk about the confidentiality agreement with Bruce. He didn't review the
I mean,
doc.
what would the risk be of, I mean, there'll be people, there could be a situation where somebody comes in to pay a past due bill and they're under collections. And they go, hey, I owe $500. I want to just run on my credit card, and they're in collections. In the office, in that case, once they've been sent to collections, we, Three Rivers or Fieldstone, is not allowed to take money. It goes through the legal process now because it's in collections. And the office needs to kind of know, like, hey, there are three people out there that they can't deal with directly. So
I totally get it, and I totally support having a confidentiality agreement. But I think that nobody on our board is a legal expert, and I think whatever document got drawn up that we are asking an employee to sign should be reviewed by counsel just to say, yeah, it's okay, go ahead and do it. That's all I want. I want somebody
Okay,
to scan it, look at it, and say, yeah, that's a safe document. There's no peril for the association by asking somebody to sign it.
So I don't know if we have a standard NDA form that we've used in the past.
I've never seen one, but we can do that. We just didn't, we had other things to talk about when we talked to Bruce. That didn't come up.
Everybody read it.
Yeah, I read it. It's a boilerplate to me. But Tom's point is very valid. I'm just leery about sending documents to Bruce for review unless we need them. Sounds like we need this one. Dave, you cool with that? I'll send it
We're hung
off.
out again for another month. I'm ready to make a motion that we approve this confidentiality agreement that was sent out.
I second it. It's a standard form that I'm sure most of us here have signed them. When I read it, it's typical. I don't see anything that's gonna backlash us. So if you wanna read it again real quick before you vote, fine. Do we have it quickly to be able to bring up?
None of us, unless you're an attorney. Tom's point isn't on whether, on the purpose of the document, it's on the content of the document, because it's a legal document that if you ever get deposed and have to go to court and have to defend it, the lawyers are going to be doing it, not us. So he just wants somebody to eyeball it. So I'm fine. That's just the point. I understand the point.
I This is a quick one. Any standard HOA attorney is gonna have a boilerplate attorney. Who came up with the boilerplate NDA? Is that something? Who created it?
Where'd the document come from?
Document the state uses. Mostly,
Oregon state document, state document.
state of Oregon document that I sign every single year.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty standard stuff.
And the ladies that do sign it, they're gonna go, oh, I'm gonna have to be quiet because I signed this document.
Right.
That's pretty simple.
There's a motion on the floor.
Motion on the floor.
Yeah.
And it's a seconded.
I seconded it.
Yeah. Okay, so we get a vote.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different talking, sorry. Can you clarify or just state what was motioned?
The motion to approve the confidentiality agreement that was provided to all board members.
Okay, thank you.
So Mike,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Tom,
No,
Tammy,
Yes.
and I'm a yes.
Done. You know, in retro on this one, there's only been one person that probably came to make a payment anyways. Out of those six, most of them are in foreclosure or some process. It'll probably never, we're only talking since.
Right.
Okay. So that one's, so auto renew contract. So we got the Fieldstone auto renew contract coming up. Who is gonna be, obviously, Tom, that's a treasury matter. Are you gonna spearhead that to, I have the contract in front of me. I looked at it. It's just cleaning that piece up. And again, we have a 60-day notice to term. So, whether we auto renew or even like right now, it's still 60-day notice. So, it's an at-will agreement with a 60-day notice. So we can terminate at any time and for any reason, and they can do the same. So, but it needs to be cleaned up. It's got like Pay Dicky on it instead of Appfolio. It has just some stuff. When Dave and I went down there and dissected through it, there was some stuff that needed to be updated. But somebody's got to take ownership of it, get it done by February. So,
I'll do it.
okay. Cash drop process, you guys will hash that out. Confidential, I already handled that. Purchase process, Fieldstone rules and regs. Okay, here's my last one. So Kyle did a really nice job putting together the ask for the two assessments to go into the packet. And we're getting ready to go through our video updates and, use the communication team, start doing our plan to get this information out to the masses. So it doesn't just only take place at the annual meeting. But when we went back and started looking through that information, in his Excel spreadsheet that he has, when we did our budget, there was a couple of items in the budget on that spreadsheet, which would be awesome if you could bring it up, that were speculative forecasts. We didn't have, like, for instance, I just finally got the D&O insurance handled and it was in my consent. So I expect everybody's reviewed that piece because I put a little extra time in it. But the bottom line is we forecasted somewhere between $8 and $9 grand in anticipation costs for that, figuring that on a 3-year insurance contract, it's going to go up. Well, it turns out that it was more favorable than I thought, even with the additional changes that I made to increase our coverage in a couple of key areas. One, I added a third-party insurance piece to that. So in case we have contracts that come through here, we're a little more covered because we had a bare bones insurance process.
I'm sorry.
The other piece, was I increased the average home price up here. And instead of like 500, I put it at 500 above because it didn't move. It didn't move the needle in cost. So sorry, where's the? Go down to insurance. Right here. Sorry. So insurance, okay, so we had a 10 grand, what was it? Oh, we had a $40,000 proposed budget for that.
I'm gonna increase the size to, so you can
No,
still,
no. Yeah, scroll up,
yep,
please, sorry. Back up to where it was.
I'm sorry.
Right there, that's it. Okay, so we put 40 in on 30 and we didn't have the D and O came in, so that's a 10 grand swing. It came in at 58.55. So, that was their pledge to us was the cost was gonna be 58.55. The invoice still hasn't reached Fieldstone yet. I asked them to, to pay it. So we're all good. It's just we haven't received the final invoice yet. But I'm anticipating 58.55. So if we just put a number in there to give us a little grace, instead of a 10 grand difference, we make this a 6 grand difference. That's gonna drop our monthly our annual fee ask. So I was never a fan of $4.99 anyways, because it looked like, well, it looks like you dropped it a buck to make it under 500. Or the other argument was, why didn't you just round it to 500? To take that whole thing out of place, it's like the April Fool's deal, to take that whole thing out of place, now that we have a more accurate number.
So that 40,000 should be 36.
Instead of $4.99, our ask is gonna be something that when Kyle plugs it in, or Barry plugs it in, when we now go down to the bottom. For the monthly, the annual, cost. The assessment amount is now, it goes to the cost of newspaper member now. That's not the right one. In other words, instead of $4.99, it's gonna drop it down a little bit. It's because it's a more accurate number. So we need,
Like 450 or 470?
well, that's what, we're gonna
to.
plug that number in
Okay.
and it'll get us a more accurate number.
Okay, I have a different, your spreadsheet doesn't tie.
It'll come out to
Yeah.
like 486 or
I
something.
think it's
Four number.
490, I think it's 496, but, cause that budget page. Yeah. You have the master budget, but all those tabs, have not been, updated on this. So you and I need to go through and make sure everything.
Do you have yours, Chris?
Yeah, I do.
Color number.
I think so. But I want to make sure we vet this out and there's no mistakes, but,
So what we'll do is, I'd like, when we get this and you all see it, then we'll make a motion to approve that budget so that we can use a more truer number and it'll drop that number down and make it more palatable and get us off the $4.99.
yeah, so
Okay.
it drops it to 821. Cause we moved the budget to 275 for the roads. We voted that in.
Yeah, so that's all good.
Yeah.
So we just make a little adjustment in our budget. So when the budget goes out for approval, by the membership, instead of $4.99, it'll be like $4.96, which is a better number than asking for $4.99.
Do we
But
still
it
have a
gives-
contingency?
Yes,
Yes,
Something like
nothing.
the road that we
25,000.
out the other day?
Yeah, nothing has changed from the other day. The 25 grand for the contingency, that budget's approved, it's done. All I'm saying is I've got the invoice for the insurance that was a speculative forecast. Now I've got an accurate number. So it'll drop it's a more accurate annual number. Instead of $4.99, it'll be 480 something or whatever. We're just trying to get that number pinned into the Excel spreadsheet so we can pop that number
So
out.
do we need to vote on anything or?
Yeah, just about the change, but we're
Okay.
gonna,
Okay.
Yeah.
So so I make a motion that we make a change to the budget to reflect the accurate insurance number. The original number was 40,000 and now it's 36,000.
I'd make it 37. Cause what was I gonna say?
So,
this number
yeah,
minus that 40 grand. And we want to put 6,000.
okay.
We want that to
Okay,
represent
so
6,000.
37,000, give us,
It's not that I don't trust the guys at 58, 55, but I want to, until I see it, it'll give us a little, 6 grand's a good number. It gets us closer, more accurate to what we need. With a little cushion. Just for
So this
giggles,
is
what is
not
it?
changing the ask for the increase, correct? Or is it?
It's reduced.
it'll tweak it a bit. So the original ask was 499. And this makes it to, 494.
494.
494.
And where does
That's a-
that, when you changed it on this spreadsheet, where does it show 494 at?
The one that you see on the screen is not the one we're using. We're using the one off of Kyle's laptop because Kyle's laptop has a.
I have the latest. I could share my screen if you want.
If you,
Can I do that?
let me see if we can do that. If I pass it to you, we cut off the phone. That's what happened last time. So,
I think I can fix that.
Is that
Yeah.
a little better? 494. So 499.
Just make it so I can share. Don't make me the.
Stupidity out of a play.
Okay, I'm gonna try it.
$5 really gonna make a difference?
No, it's because it's so close to the 499, it's close
Fair
to
enough.
500. It just takes that all. I'll probably be the one serving this up. It just helps me to serve it up to justify the reason why we came up with that number is it was based on need and we let the number lie. The number popped out 499, we were gonna leave it. We didn't adjust it either way, but now we gotta explain why it's 499 because it's so close to 500. I'm just saying, we get 494 and that's what the number came up to be. It's just easier to explain and to justify it. It really, this is a
Do not
good thing and it helps.
the only thing I
It really
can
does.
post, but then you have to connect to the phone. Do that.
Okay, and I could, right, yeah.
Okay, so, folks on the phone, I'm going to make, Kyle the host. We'll lose the phone connection, but he'll reconnect to the phone. So we will lose the phone. It'll go to computer audio for a few minutes.
Thanks.
Maybe. It didn't look like it disconnected, but now can you share your screen?
Yeah. So,
I'm going to stop sharing.
possible.
Okay.
I turned off my mic.
Okay.
Those are the only thing that's the just.
Yep, the audio.
Okay, can you guys hear me
I can.
here?
You have to connect to the TR 8800
Yeah.
and probably turn your audio back on.
Anything else from me?
The Trio 88.
Yeah,
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yes. It has an echo.
All right. Can you hear me now? Is there an echo?
Yes, there's still an echo.
Wait a minute. Speaker.
America, America.
Still seeing my screen. So
Actually sharing it, I don't think.
Yeah. this has gotta be-
Let me shoot this email to you and you share it.
Okay.
Fast. Yeah, I'm only going to.
Let's see.
Okay, so you got a second for me?
Well, as soon as we get this thing here, then I don't have any other comments. Okay.
Okay.
Wrinkles inside. so-
You guys hear me?
Just that guy.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
No keys to that thing.
Randy, can you hear me?
Exactly.
Yeah, I might have to get out of this.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
still have that. Okay, so.
Okay, now you have to connect to
I
it.
have to reconnect.
Oh, man, we need a better solution here.
Yep. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, all good on my end.
All right,
Okay.
sorry, guys.
Didn't quite work our
Yeah.
switch.
Kyle,
you-
I
I thought
think
you
if
emailed that
you,
to you. You can pull that up.
Kyle, if you would mute yours, because I think that's where the echo's coming from.
Okay.
Okay,
That worked.
What's the number? 494. That really helps. Okay.
so are you seeing the screen now?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay.
All right, so this is, so what we've done is if you go to the budget tab on this spreadsheet, on line item, under insurance, so line, 44, that was reduced by $3,000. We had a $40,000 budget. We got the final D&O insurance that came in the last couple of weeks. It was a little bit lower than we thought. That's 37,000. So we put that in. And then if you go to the cost dues per paying member tab, that goes to 494. So the total ask that we're asking for is our operating dues. That's one ask, going from 350 to 494. We're going to keep the marina assessment and we're going to keep the roads at 275. The roads is going to be a special assessment, 275. So the total ask is 819.
What is that dues paying members 696?
That's how many dues paying members that we have. You
Oh,
take
the
the total
total.
budget divided by
Gotcha.
the total number of dues paying members.
Okay.
Okay, so is there an ask here?
Yeah, I'm not sure if we needed to vote on this, if we're all in agreement, but if we have to put it to a vote, okay, then I'll make a motion to, or actually, you already did.
I made a motion to accept the budget as presented here, which is a $3,000 reduction in the insurance line item, operating jail code 74935. There's a $3,000 reduction, and that trickles through to everything we're trying to do here. We just want to make it accurate. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Okay, how you want that worded, Kyle?
Need more ink.
Yeah, I know.
How about this? I try not to be on, but just make it real simple, that there's been The motion is to adjust the forecast for insurance to an accurate number,
Come on.
receiving it, after receiving the
Come on.
invoice. That's it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really what happened. We had a speculative number in there. Now we have an accurate number. We just need to accept.
So now we went from the
that number.
budget to the insurance.
No, the insurance and the budget are the same thing. The insurance
Come
is
on.
in.
Randy, come on.
Tammy, you want to mute?
She is muted.
That's Mayla.
Oh, Maylette, mute.
Just putting in, we're changing this number.
I can mute.
So that will change the bottom number
So we changed it to $37,000.
from 40,000 to 37,000. That's probably the best way to do that, Dave, is just budget change in insurance from 40,000 to 37,000. That's simple. That's
Okay.
it. And the new, which will affect the new ask from 499 to 494. That way we got a trail on what the overall effect was.
Okay.
Call for vote.
All right, call for vote. Tammy,
Aye.
Tom,
Yeah.
Mike,
Yes.
I mean, yes, Steve,
Yes.
don't matter. Passed.
Yeah, we just voted you in as a.
Yeah, you're the.
That's what happens when you leave the meeting.
House duty again, huh?
Do you want me to go up there or I can't, I have no keys to get in anything, nor do I want.
3 people are there now.
Okay,
Yeah.
pile on. Sorry, I gotta run early, guys.
Happy holidays.
You too. Enjoy the holidays.
Um,
Back on?
Yeah.
right, I'm gonna share one more, document with you, Mary, so you could be the,
Okay.
do you have PowerPoint or should?
You.
Okay.
I know.
Now, this isn't the same thing that Michelle sent me, is it?
I don't know if she did or not. I've been making changes to it, so let's just use my latest one.
You didn't know that's what he was saying in the beginning?
So, hold on for just a quick second, everybody. All right, so I'm gonna just walk through a couple things that I've been working on this week. And can you put in presentation mode down at the bottom? I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page relative to right there. The timeline. So I've sent this to Dave and I've sent this to Michelle. And I just kind of want to walk through it and mostly just make sure that I forget anything because this is my first time going through this. You know, and I kind of start with the end in mind. So the annual meeting is on the 14th of March. So that's at the far right. And then I'm assuming we're going to have a deadline for all mail-in and e-voting activity that is 1 week before the annual meeting. I don't know if that's right. I don't know if we take them all the way up till that Friday, but that's what I have now. We can adjust that. Landowners will receive the packet, and again, I'm kind of going from the end back to the very beginning. Landowners will receive the packet February 4th through the 9th, depending on where they live. That's the week that they will receive the packet. The packet will be dropped in the mail from B&B Prince Source. That's Julie Tone, who we've used in the past, on February 2nd. We need to get the annual packet to Julie on the 19th of January. The deadline for Board of Director candidates will receive on the 16th of January. And this is a key one, Dave. The mailing list that we use needs to go to Julie on the 12th, because that triggers when she can get us in the slot. It's all based on the numbers. So that goes in on January 12th. And then I thought in this meeting, we should probably talk through, and maybe not in this meeting, but you're responsible for the vote counting plan. And last week we sent out, or maybe it was this week on the 15th, we sent out board of candidate, call for board of candidates. So that's the timeline we're working on. Is there any major topic that I've missed?
I don't see any.
Okay, I think this is pretty solid.
A lot of this, if what's not written or not on here now, we can.
Yeah,
we can
I
meld
mean,
in-
I
we
feel-
can meld in with our little committee meeting.
Yeah, I have, so there is a committee of Dave and I and Michelle and Jessica. The four of us are kind of putting together the plan here. So so that's the timeline. So let's go to the next slide. The next so during the annual meeting, I'm anticipating, and we got to decide what of this information goes in the packet, but it's going to be what I anticipate people wanting to know. The first thing is I want people to understand what is the budgeting process. So how do we come up with these numbers? So by definition of our rules and regs and our bylaws, we have a budget committee. That committee is led by the treasurer. All board members are part of that committee. The meetings are open to the public. Each line item in the budget is tied to a board member, and we assess what the funding requirements are by line item. Do we need it? Do we not need it? Is it up? Is it down? And then we make a recommendation by line item. And that is the process. So it's a very much a bottoms up number, not just based on, well, we need a 10% increase. It's based on need. What we're going to ask is it from each property owner, we're asking for $819 per landowner. And that's broken into three different categories. One is the annual dues, $494. The $50 for the marina, and $275, which is a special assessment for the roads. Now, how does that compare to what we've paid over the last 12 years? Over the last 12 years, we've had what's been consistent is the $350 we've paid. If you go back to 2015, there was a 10-year period around that time where we had a $50 roads assessment, and we've had this $50 marina assessment. So in 2015, we paid $450. In 2018, we put together a legal fund. We don't need a legal fund. Times are different. We don't have the same challenges as association. We do not believe we need an additional legal fund assessment. In 2020, we started a $250 roads assessment, and that went for 5 years. Last year, we didn't have one. We're asking for a roads assessment in 2026 going from 250 to 275. And that'll be a 3-year commitment. We're asking people to fund the roads for 3 years. We have a 5-year plan for the roads. But we're only asking for 3-year commitment, and then we'll reassess whether or not this continues to make sense. So we're asking for 821. So the next slide. All right, so budget comparison, where does our money come from? So if you look at the total budget for 2025, what is the actuals versus 2026 proposed? There are 4 common areas, or maybe, well, 6 actually. So the common area expense is 34% of our budget. The operating budget is 17%. The professional services, so this includes Fieldstone, it includes our legal, and it includes our CPA firm that does all our taxes. So that is under professional services. That's 19% of our total budget. And payroll, that is primarily the office. That also includes if we have snowplow drivers. So there's about 10 days or so a year where if we get snow, we pay our snowplow drivers. So in 2026, we're adding, and this is a big one, we're adding a contingency line item. This is a $25,000 ask for the association for a contingency. This is for unplanned maintenance. This is if we have a road slide and we need to fix it. This is the roof blows off on the office. In the past, we've never had a contingency line item. You know, again, we've talked about a reserve study in this community that has been voted down. We don't want to have a mandatory, that we don't want anybody telling us we have to save this money aside, but we are recommending we have a $25,000 contingency in the 2026 budget. So go to the next slide. So if you look at the top 8 things or 9 things that are in the budget on the 2026 plan, this is where our money goes. About $50,000 goes towards the office staff. That's a reasonable wage for the quality of work we get in the office. They're open from 36 hours a week during the winter time, and they spend more time there during the busy months. We're going to spend $38,000 in insurance. Fieldstone will spend about $33,000 for Fieldstone. That's for accounts payable, receivable, financial statements. $25,000 goes towards their taxes, federal, state, and property. Again, this $25,000. That's a new thing we're throwing in this year, is a restricted contingency fund for unplanned maintenance. This is not, you know, just money we just go out and spend. This is money that we save for catastrophes, big problems. We are also recommending that we make an upgrade to the infrastructure in the office for our solar. The solar system there, the inverter is 30 years old. The batteries are 6 years old. We have a miscellaneous hodgepodge of solar panels on that drive that if we got some upgraded panels, it would probably make it so that our generator never needs to run. So we're planning on that. We may not do it this year, but sometime in the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to need to upgrade the solar for the office. We're going to fund that this year. We spend a lot of money on our portable bathrooms, $20,000 about. We think we could bring that down by taking out outhouses when we don't need them, but we'd also like to start rebuilding the outhouses that we have. And but that each outhouse that we rebuild will take some money. So that's the money that, you know, to have restrooms down at the beach, down at the rec hall, or up at the rec hall and at the event center. That's how much we spend on just restrooms. The technology at the gate, the website, the phone, Zoom meetings, all that is built into here. And we budgeted $15,000 for security for the big weekends. That's so that we have a third-party company that deals with any problems. So if you look at just those line items, those are the big ticket items of where our money goes. Okay, so.
Yeah.
This is where I need everybody to kind of pay attention here, because this is where we need to all agree. So ballot measure 1, shall the association amend bylaw 3.7 to increase the annual assessments from 350 to 340 or 494? Is that right at 494?
Yeah.
To fund ongoing operations and common area expenses, including taxes and insurance. This assessment would take place May 31st of 2026. Yes or no? We are required to put pros and cons. So let's go to the.
What, Tom?
Typo on the yes, it says 496.
Oops, down here.
Yeah, that needs to change. I missed that one.
Okay.
That $2 difference is the reduction we just made in the insurance. So is everybody okay with this language?
Yes.
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 Yeah. Okay. All right. Pros. Stronger financial stability will help the association keep pace with inflation and rising operational and maintenance expenses. This includes insurance, taxes, and utilities. Improve or maintain property values. Adequate funding will help maintain common areas, infrastructure, and amenities. Taking care of what we have will support higher home values and reduce the risk of special assessments in the future. And again, this funding requirement is based on a true bottoms-up forecast based on what we need to run this place. The cons: any increase in our dues affects residents on fixed or lower income. Some may perceive the jump as too steep or financially stressful. That's a reality. We know that that's true. The risk of delinquencies, higher dues can lead to small rise in unpaid assessments. Our unpaid assessments, we're really on top of it. We have a few that we're dealing with, but this last year it's been minimal. Anytime you increase dues, there's always a risk of people not paying or not paying it back. All right, so that's for the dues. The second ask is for shall the association adopt a 3-year annual special roads maintenance assessment of $275 per dues paying member to be used exclusively for the repair, maintenance, and improvement of association roads. This assessment would take effect May 31st of 2026. Yes or no? All right, so let's go through the pros.
Can we back up one
Thursday.
screen?
Kyle,
Yep.
go ahead,
Sorry to
Tammy.
interrupt. Can you back up one screen? Yeah, right there. So that last sentence, I think it should say this special assessment would take effect.
He's right here. This special.
I said up above the annual special road maintenance assessment.
Right.
Is
I'm just
that-
talking about the very last sentence. I think it should have this special assessment also
You
in
want
there.
us to add this special assessment?
Yeah.
That's what she's suggesting. Yeah.
Okay, I'm okay with that. And again, this is a 3-year ask. We're asking for people to commit to this for 3 years. We'll have a 5-year plan. Kevin Fitzpatrick will describe the 5-year plan. And it's basically the first 3 years, we're preparing the roads for eventually what we'll be moving into a chip sealing process. And I don't want to get ahead of myself because I don't know much about roads, but we think chip sealing down the road is going to be a better way to maintain our roads than paving it. But so he'll talk through that, but it's a 3-year ask. Yeah.
So there was.
Guys, you need to come over here and talk so everybody can hear.
I had heard complaints from landowners about using road, special assessment for the roads for a new road. Because of the language using for maintenance. For placement for new roads. So a few people were upset about it, so
Okay.
I just wanted you to know the wording.
I don't think we have any plans. So you're talking specifically about the Rabine Road?
Well, any road that we make new, that we pay money to make a new road.
Right.
That is not already,
I'm not aware of any new roads that are being planned. But I think you're right. We should be prepared to address that.
Because improvement would cover any existing road that needs to be paved.
yes.
So there's two roads that, or at least one, lower Upper Canyon, there's a section that's not yet paved. I don't know if there's any plan to do it, but that's an existing road that would be improved.
So I suppose a gravel road would be acceptable because it's improvement.
Yeah.
So
So the Rabine Road would have been the one that was a brand new
right.
road.
And that's,
Yes.
okay. So I think that's a roads. I attended my first roads meeting yesterday. So I'll expect Kevin to tee this up, what it includes, what it doesn't. That's his job.
Okay, as long as.
But your point. Okay, so let's go to the pros. So this ensures dedicated funding for essential infrastructure. A special assessment guarantees the required maintenance, repairs. Maybe we want to add a word improvement. Because if there are.
There's not enough room for improvement.
There you go, yeah.
All right, I mean, we could word this all day long. Required maintenance, improvements, or repairs are fully funded without delay. Okay, the next pro is,
Kyle,
yeah,
I think the word guarantee is fraught with peril. I would use allows or something. They're definite taxes,
I'm okay with that.
So take this out.
Yeah.
No.
Without delay, how?
Or fully funded, just take out without delay.
Yeah, I'd take that out because
Yeah.
you got a road fix. How long is it gonna take?
Right.
Someone's gonna say, well, it says without delay.
My
I
road.
want it fixed tomorrow.
Road got fixed. Yeah, I'm good with that.
I think you need the
All
that.
right.
I don't think you need the allows that the. I think you can kill the that, but yeah, I'm a grammar Nazi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Next pro provides transparency and clarity to landowners on exactly what their money is being used for. The special assessment approach increases trust and accountability. And again, we're asking for this money for 3 years. This is a 5-year plan. In year 2 and 3, we'll be assessing where we are. And the expectation would be that we would need to continue this beyond 3 years, but we're asking for a 3-year commitment. And last, it protects long-term property values, well-maintained roads, improve neighborhood appearance, reduce vehicle wear, and help preserve or increase home values. Okay, so that, okay, now let's go to the con, and then we could, if we want to make any additional changes, we can. So the con is anytime you're asking for a lump sum of money, even if structured in installments, it can be difficult for some households and it potentially causes hardships. We understand that. With no special assessment, there are inadequate funds to maintain the roads. They will continue to deteriorate. So those are the cons. So how do people feel about measure 2, the wording, the pros, the cons, any adjustments we need to make?
I don't think the first bullet point's necessary.
You don't think the first is necessary? You don't think that that is a con?
No, I don't, I think that if we're talking about the roads, um, we're, I mean, I think that that's, even if you put, I think even if you put in, even if structured in installments, you open up a can of worms. No, I think it should be strictly to the, what's going to happen to the roads if we don't do it. The other thing is kind of, I mean, it's kind of obvious, but it's also ancillary. I mean, doesn't, it's not about
Yeah.
the roads.
Yeah, get rid
It's an
of that
opinion.
top.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Move the top one, get rid of it. Okay, so with no special assessment, the roads are gonna continue to deteriorate.
Yeah, that's
That's
blank,
simple.
blank, simple.
All right, I'm good with that.
Good call.
I'm good with that. Let's go back to the con on the measure one, because I had something similar. Any increase to our dues affects residents on fixed incomes. Does that need to be?
Yep.
I mean, I think
It really
that's,
is.
That's the same thing, yeah.
that's kind of the same thing.
If you can pop
Get rid of it?
slide 9 too, there's one thing I wanted to
It's
mention.
a true statement though, because there are some fixed income people that reside
I-
there.
I feel like it, I feel like
Knowledge.
it's real. I mean, there are people in our community that that are gonna go, wow, man, I just got through with Christmas. Now I
Okay,
gotta
well-
plan for this, and, I mean, it's reality, and I'm sensitive to that, so I would vote to keep it in, but
Can
I'm
we
okay.
maybe kill the second sentence because that's editorializing?
Okay.
I can
that's
agree to
fine.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
And can we jump up one more slide? Um, Bullet point 2, pros improve or maintain property values. We can't guarantee that. Property values are market adjusted, and I would hate to have some litigious person say, "Oh, gee, I voted because they said my property values wouldn't go down." I just think there's a better way to word that doesn't say that we're going to improve or maintain because property values drop regardless of whether the roads are there. Say help maintain
Yeah,
property
both sides.
values or something, but
I'm
yeah, I just am scared about
good
that.
with, I'm good with that, keeping it more simple, and
That
part of it was just kind of like what I'm feeling from my heart, and one of it is you know.
Well, if the roads did go bad, your house probably wouldn't be worth. Somebody will come in and go, I don't want to buy that house, but
But this is on number one. We're on measure one.
This is on one.
So this is about the general, the stuff, not the.
But if interest rates skyrocket, regardless of what happens here, we're not going to improve or maintain values. So I just think it's perilous. That's all.
I agree with Tom. Maybe just take out that one part that's highlighted and then the second sentence. And
Love it.
I think adequate funding will help maintain common areas, infrastructure, and amenities. I think that should be left.
I would say take the higher of home values. I just say support home values.
of the format of the questions, I think will be consistent with what we've had in the past, whatever that looks like. I just wrote it. So,
People know what true bottom up forecast based on needs means.
meaning, I could provide some color on that. It's what we want to try to avoid is just the concept of, well, we've been at 350 for so long, we need to increase it by 20%, not based on need.
Yeah.
What we did is we went through line item by line item from the person responsible for it, how much are we spending?
Yeah.
And we went up as opposed to this kind
I
of
get
tops
that.
down.
I'm just saying,
So I think I could cover that.
Understand, budget.
Yeah, I think I could cover that just more in talking through it. But
So if you do that in the town hall meeting, and then if we actually do the summary of the town hall meeting and focus on some of these answers to the questions and post that on the website.
so I really think we need to have an FAQ, frequently asked questions. Like, oh, God, we got that. 10 people asked this question, so we need to write them out and have really good, clear answers, like Fieldstone, what role, I thought we fired him, yep, we changed, that type of thing. So frequently. Good with that. The next question is, well, do we continue? What's going on with the marina? And are we going to continue to have this $50?
Oh, okay.
Sound went away.
Yeah.
Oh, now it's back.
Yeah, I just brought it back. I don't know what happened, but I just noticed it was red, so you're back. Something's happening that's turning off the sound. I'll try to keep an eye on the microphone.
Okay, are you guys on with me?
Yes.
We can hear
Okay.
now.
All right. So here's the latest on the marina. I had a meeting, Ed and I met Lawrence Stills, Tuesday of this week. And he's done a lot of soul searching over the last 6 months. Because if you remember back in June, I put together a letter of intent, which is the goal is to provide a framework of which we could start negotiations, and talking about what's important to us. And he's very willing to start working with us. So when we talk about the marina, I just want to be really clear what we're talking about here. So we're talking about this piece of land, which is the boat slips, the docks, the store, and the parking lot. Everything to the east of that, Three Rivers owns. Directly to the west of that, Three Rivers owns. Another interesting thing that happened just in the last couple of weeks is this property on the west side of the Gary Pop's properties, which was where they run the houseboats out of. Kevin Spencer bought that property. The only other piece in play here is Gary Pop's property. That is also for sale. But when we're talking about the marina, we're only talking about the boat slips, the gas dock, the store, and the parking lot. That's all we're talking about. Okay, so when a year and a half or 2 years ago, I was asked to figure out a way to preserve that marina. We believe that marina, all of our properties, it's, having a place on Lake Billy Chinook without that marina means that everybody's putting in their boat at the dock, and not having that would be problematic. Okay, there are 3 options we have. We acquire it. We write a check and we take responsibility to operate and maintain the marina. He's asking $7 million for it. We can't afford it. Option 2, we do nothing. We hope that Mr. Stills continues to run the marina, continues to maintain operations as he does today and into the future. You know, the thinking here is we do nothing. He needs us as much as we need him. Okay, and there's some people that think that's a good plan, and it could be as long as you operate it. Option 3 is what we discussed last year at the annual meeting, which is a marina rights agreement, where we create a legal document ensuring that Three Rivers will always have access to that marina. The owner of the marina must operate and maintain it, even if and when he sells it. There is value in this agreement that's consistent with the spirit of the marina fund creation. You know, so when we created that marina fund, $50 per property owner, we wanted to make sure that marina was there for us as a community. There's lots of controversy on whether or not we want to operate it, we want to maintain it, the risk associated with all that, but we know we want that marina to be there. So in June of 2027, I put together an agreement that's the framework for starting negotiations, which is that marina will always be a marina. Three Rivers landowners will always have the first right to rent slips annually. The marina will maintain the current number of slips. There was some discussion by Mr. Stills that maintaining that's expensive. Maybe I'll just reduce it to 100 slips. I'll charge 3 times as much. I'll get the same amount of income, and I don't have as much expenses. That would be problematic. We don't want that. If D&D Marina is sold, the new buyer agrees to the above. I missed the top one. In the event that slips are not rented, the marina would have the right to go outside of Three Rivers to rent slips. A maintenance plan will be in place and executed over a reasonable period of time. We have a parking problem to the west of us. We have a lot of land. So I said Three Rivers, D&D Marina, and Gary Pop will work together to provide a reasonable approach to gain access to additional parking during the busy season. We're really talking about maybe 10, 15 days a year. A pump out station will remain in place for use of houseboats in Fly Creek. Everybody in Fly Creek is members of Three Rivers. I believe we have a responsibility to make sure they have a place to get gas, get propane, and unload their boats, pump them out. That's in place today. Gary Pop handles that. I just want to make sure that we keep our friends in Fly Creek taken care of. In exchange, this would be a perpetual agreement. This means it's forever. The payment would be $200,000 a year paid to D&D Marina each year for 5 years. And again, the maintenance and responsibility is the owner, not Three Rivers. In this case, Lauren Stills and Lance would be responsible for maintaining it. So that was presented to him in June of last year. I don't know that he came back to us with multiple options, including, hey, I'm just going to shut it down. I don't want to mess with it anymore. I'm going to make it a club and just and sell slips, put a gate up. You have to have a key card to get in there to even park, to get access to your boat. I'm going to raise the rates, to a point where this just, makes more money for us because we can't afford to do all the things we need to do. To Tuesday of this week, he came back with some very specific language that he had written down. And it was, the marina will always be a marina. Three Rivers will have the right to rent slips. Owners can rent outside the gate if occupancy goals are not met.
Shit.
I'm sorry.
Maylette.
Are you talking to me? I got to sit down here. So things in red, I could tell, are the things that he's passionate about. Go back. I'm sorry.
No, it's not going back.
So maintenance, he is passionate about, he does not want to get in a situation where he's reporting to the Three Rivers Board, telling him what to fix, when to fix it, how to fix it. So the maintenance is a sole responsibility and the discretion of the owner. Owner will set all maintenance schedules. The LOA will not have any influence over the decision on how to operate the marina unless solicited by Mr. Stills. The footprint of the marina, so he came back and so if you remember, I said all slips must remain in place. There's 271 of them. I don't want to get into a situation where he's going to reduce it to 100. And that's not really what he's thinking. What he's thinking is boats today are bigger than they were 10, 20 years ago. Some of the boat slips are really tight. And he may want to make some adjustments to those slips, making them a little wider, which would result in making the slips, reducing the number of slips. So I came back with this language and asked him if it was okay, and he said, yeah. So the footprint of the marina will remain the same. Owner has the flexibility to reconfigure the slips to accommodate larger boats. A minimum of 200 slips will always be available for rent. And he was okay with that. Obviously, he wants as many slips as he can because, you know, the income opportunities for him. But if he makes them bigger, we can't make the marina bigger.
Yeah, but he charges at the same time when he makes them bigger, he's charging those bigger slips to
Yep.
rents. So his rent's not going down.
Right. Okay. All right. He wants to be paid over 2 years. We said 5. I think that's negotiable. Owner agrees to invest 50% of whatever we pay him back into the marina. Okay, so that's a big one, I think. And owner agrees to put a reasonable cap on annual increases. So we talked about something like 2.5% a year to 5% a year. You know, somewhere in that range. You know, maybe it's 5% over 2 years or 2.5% a year, something like that. I didn't want to get hold up on the number, but what I'm trying to prevent is, hey, I'm charging you $3,000 a slip, you know, and right now it's about, I still think he has it by size, but I think we pay like $1,000-ish.
That's probably the high side.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we have a 24-foot boat and I think we pay $1,000 a year for it. But anyway, that's where I think we made good progress. We're not ready to vote on anything yet. At the end of the day, whatever the members have to vote on it. We can't spend that money without the vote of the membership, but I want to give people an update on where we are. If we came to an agreement like this, there could be a scenario that says, hey, we're going to cut the $50 marina assessment out completely. There could be a scenario that says, $50 a year, we continue to throw that back into, specifically for maintenance, ongoing maintenance. But we're not there yet. I think this is going to be another 6 months to a year before we're even ready to vote on this. But that's where we're at with the marina.
Hey, Kyle, can you pop back up to the map? I think it was one
Yeah.
of your.
That one?
Is that what you're after, Tom?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. And I want to talk about this map too, but you have a line in, I think, the previous slide that says he needs us as much as we need him. Man,
Well, those are so if you go to the first.
Yeah, I think that should go away. I mean, I don't know if I was the marina, I'd be offended by that. It just, it's hyperbole.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
And potentially inflammatory. So, but with regard to this map, I do have a question.
Yeah.
Because it appears that Three Rivers owns property that is currently being used by Gary Pop's Marina, and he has signs up that say no trespassing beyond this point and, beyond the parking lot. Is he
right.
paying us for that, or are we going to get an adverse possession thing down the road?
So the easement discussion is a hot topic. And this goes back to years ago when we bought, so everything that's outside, like the end of the docks for Gary Pops, the docks just where that red bubble is there, the fuel station docks, those are all on our property. And Gary Pop has some easements to his property through Lauren to get to his, and some use easements that we have with Lauren as well. And Lauren feels very strongly about that. In fact, he made a comment in the meeting that we are landlocked, that we don't even really have access to our property there, the green in the middle. And I think so. Kevin Spencer has bought that property to the west of the marina. That property has easement rights through Gary Pop. And who has access rights through Lauren Stills. At the end of the day, what's important to me is that we have the ability to keep this marina for Three Rivers community. And I think it makes a whole lot of sense that we figure out a better parking situation on big weekends. And if we were to go to court, depending on who you talk to, and I've been talking to Kevin Spencer a lot on this topic, the easement rights, what Lauren believes he has and what we believe he has are not necessarily consistent. I don't think we want to get into a battle. What we want to do is we want to solve a problem. We want to make sure that marina is something that we could continue to use. If it's the way it is today, perfect. I don't want them to jack. We'd like it to be better maintained if we could. And we need better parking on big weekends. And there are some agreements that they have where the houseboats in Fly Creek are stored on Three Rivers property in the wintertime. And I think Lauren makes some money on that. And that he would argue that that's part of his conditional easement that he has. And again, it's not that big of a deal, and it's a battle that I don't think makes sense fighting, because he's very passionate about it. And if we do this right, we get to preserve the marina. We get to increase our parking, and who knows what's going to happen with Gary Pop's property. I could tell you I'm on the water quite a bit in the summertime, and there's not a lot of those houseboats that are out there floating around, if any. And so they haven't shut them down yet, to my knowledge, but there's not a lot of them that are going out. And I know that there's all kinds of discussions happening with Gary and other people, and we'll let that play out. But again, we're focused on the bullseye there, which is the marina for now.
Yeah, no, I get that, and I'm not trying to stir things up, but if you throw this map up there without questions about, gee, why is there a no trespassing sign or whatever it is between Lauren's property and property that we own that goes to the Gary Pop's Marina? And because I didn't know that we owned that property and we own that gravel road, but he's taken it upon himself to put a sign up. I just think you might get a lot of questions as to
We'll be prepared
what's
to
going on
answer
with
those.
that, and
Yeah.
why he has that property posted when it's not his property to post.
Right. Yep. Yeah. So, anyway.
Just up for discussion.
Yeah.
So who's on your team building these, you know? We've only been about your offers twice, through this whole deal. Who else is on your team?
Kevin Spencer, Ed, um, uh, Joe Parrott.
Okay, so a few.
Yeah.
Maybe there should be a few more because, start from the beginning for me, Mary. Of Mr. Stills, what he wants. Is that him? Yes, okay. This is all, I call this all blue sky. So the Stills family is the nicest group of people. They're great, but they are business people. I mean, they're all about business. And he's written this, or, you know, you've copied what he said. It's all protects him. And there's no guarantee of anything that I see right there. He's
Well,
gonna
there-
keep it as a marina. Yeah, keep it as a marina, but 200 slips. When he gets around to it, he's not gonna get around to that very quick. So I think we're good for 270 that's there now, but, you know, eventually he will make it less. It all depends on the money. And what I'm not trying to pick holes in it, but I'm looking at him as, you know, taking $1 million and what are we getting for it? We've got no guarantee here at all. And he wants the $1 million within 2 years. So that ruins all of our interest that we could be earning, on our 5-year plan. So the negotiations, he's a hard negotiator. I know that. I've known him a long time. I've worked with him and his dad. Again, great people, very smart business people. He's not gonna relinquish, and be told what to do. And we won't have any way to fight him. And we can't fight the guy. So,
So if you go back to the 3 options. So these are the options we have, as I see it.
mhm.
We acquire it. You know, and maybe you'd take 5, maybe you'd take 3, maybe you'd take 2. But then we're responsible for maintaining and operating it, which, I mean, shit, we're having a hard time figuring out how we're gonna collect our dues with what we do have. I mean, I don't see a scenario that we want to be in the marina business. We do nothing. And we go, you know what? You run it. We'll continue to be your customer. And maybe we take out that last sentence where he needs us as much as we need him, but that's how people feel. You know, it's blue sky. We're not buying anything for it. Great. You continue to run it. But what are the risks? Like, this place for me only works because we have a marina. This place is worth a lot less to me personally if I have to go down, launch my boat. And now there's only 271 slips. There's 700, you know, people who pay dues. And so there's a bunch of people that don't have boat slips. You know, we got to keep them in mind. But we do nothing. Or we create a marina rights agreement, a legal document that does have teeth. This is talking points. This is intent, memorandum of understanding. This is not a legal document that would have teeth to say, you know, that we'd have, you know, what happens if he does not meet his side of the agreement. There would have to be a legal document.
I was gonna ask you about that.
The thing of it is that the marina rights agreement, no matter how well written it is for both sides, we can't enforce it on our end. You're gonna ask for a special assessment to sue him, you know, if it gets down to that. And actually, I think if Lauren Stills agrees with a marina rights agreement, he will stick by it. But when he sells it to the next guy, he transfers that to the new buyer, who we do not know. That's where I'm going. Whether that's in our lifetime, that's where that guy,
So Mike,
we can't fight that guy.
right. So, and I don't want to negotiate this deal at this, in this meeting, but I think it's worth having a quick discussion about it. Our goal is to make sure that that marina is there forever.
Yeah, I don't know that that's even possible.
That's the goal. That,
It's not even possible, just, you know, you got outside forces that Mr.
I
Stills.
mean, you know, they could take the dam out, they
Yeah.
could drop the lake. I
Yeah.
mean, there's all kinds of things. But everybody in this community has been putting in money to secure that marina. And what's the best way to do it? So if there are some alternatives ideas that you have, I'm all ears.
The other side of that is what happens if they put restrictions on the lake.
On big boats, you mean, or wakeboards and yeah.
Yeah. But when you say that this is, you know, that marina is what, you know, fuels all the landowners here, we have access to the water. We have that access. Not everybody has access to Lake Billy.
No, right. We have our own dock, we have our beach.
Home beach.
Yep.
We have a road that is ours
Not,
that goes to it. We're not gonna lose that, no matter what he does with that.
right.
Or what the Indians do, or what the dam does, or, you know, Oregon State does, you know, county does, you know. So we're not gonna lose that. I don't believe our property values are gonna go down to that. Our convenience of, you know, having for you, it's the dock or the, you know, space to put your boat. For me, it's the marina if I want a cold beer and ice and propane and stuff like
Right.
that, you know. That's more valuable to me than the boat, slip, especially because I can't get one. You know, let alone if they go up in price, I'm certainly not gonna pay the $2,000, you know, if they go up that high. Certainly not the 3,000 that he, you know, and I know he threw that out, you know, he's throwing his weight around, just like he's throwing. his weight
Again,
around that.
nothing can happen until we have something on the table that people can vote on. The objective here is to provide an update on where we are. And there are lots of concerns, and there's lots of, you know, I have people tell me all the time, shit, we should buy it for 7 million. And I have people that tell me we shouldn't spend a dime. He
Yeah.
needs us, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so there's no way we're gonna make everybody happy. I'm playing with the card with, and we're continuing to, you know, he wants to have a fishing tournament in May, and he's working with us. And I think historically, I think there's been this Three Rivers Marina, or, you know, D&D Marina, or and Three Rivers Landowner Association. Quite honestly, we didn't always work well together. And I think that's changed. And I think he wants to work with us. And he wants our money.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that we want to have something that it has
Like I
teeth in
said,
it.
repeat it. If we make an agreement with Mr. Stills, I have no problem that he will stick by it. It's after Mr. Stills.
Well, you do it in the form of a deed restriction that that it would be a recorded deed that that whoever takes ownership of it when he sells it, it would be predefined what the rules are.
I understand. Still gotta fight it if they don't follow the rules.
Well,
You know, and there's
no.
not any, you know, I don't want a special assessment down the road fighting another lawsuit.
Well, we could, you know, like I said, we could do nothing. Option 2 is always available. So,
I would suggest wait, just let him sit for now. Let him sit,
yeah,
you know, make him come back to us.
he did. He just came back to us on Tuesday.
We'll let him come back a second time.
Okay.
Maybe a third time.
All right. I think we're not going to get any further on this topic. I want to get everybody an update on where we are. I think people at the meeting are going to want to know.
Do you think this is derailed here? Wait till you get to the annual meeting.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah, I get it. You know, I'm trying to just say you had like 9 things you said you wanted.
I've got all kinds of things. Not picking on you, Tom. I'm gonna pick this one most important thing to talk about, and it involves you. I don't know if everybody's aware of, as this meeting's been going on, the office and annex generator did not start. So the batteries went dead, which lost all AC power. And that caused the gate not to open. You probably heard some guy walk in and say he did something to the gate. Well, he sure did. He busted a couple switches and just effed it up pretty. So anyway, as we were meeting, I had 3 volunteers go up there and it is back to working again. Generator is charging up the battery. But there's some parts that I need to buy, Tom. So do you have a plan on how I can get parts a little bit easier than we did with batteries? We just replaced the batteries yesterday and now the thing loses AC power totally at the office. So it's a chain reaction of issues here. When the gate loses AC power, it won't open at all. If it loses internet, it still works. So we have an old backup battery power system that needs a new battery. I mean, that thing's probably well over $1,000 to buy a new one like that, maybe even higher than that. But we can probably replace the batteries to it. I've got to find out what it takes. So if we can do another battery situation or maybe a battery backup, a whole different one. This is the 3rd time in just 6 weeks that the gate has gone down because of loss of electricity.
Well, so this is a great example of, our need to think about the power situation at the front office. This is why I've suggested that we upgrade the power there. And because when that happens, nothing works, right? I mean, we all live off the grid. We've all experienced generators not starting and stuff. So there's 2 questions. One is, how do we pay for it? The second is, why did it?
The failure this time was the starting battery for the generator.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't the solar batteries. The solar just went dead because
Do we have a battery tender on the battery?
Yeah, but it
It's
failed.
just an old battery.
Failed.
So I would just say go out get a new battery. Tom, well, this topic of there are things that we need to buy to keep this place running has been going on for months. Steve's been wanting to get some stuff purchased for the gate. They do not have a credit card. I have a credit card and you have a credit card. I believe you and I are the only 2 people on the board that have a credit card. And I understand that I personally signed up for it. It's in my name. It's a 3 Rivers card, but it's in my name. And so it's my understanding, unless somebody's willing to put their own credit at risk, sign up like I did and like you did, those are our only options for a credit card, is unless there's a PO system or, things like this will come up. We need a way to buy stuff. What's the best approach?
Well, you're correct. Banks will not issue a credit card and then they're not credit cards, they're debit cards. I have a debit card to the Umpqua Bank or the Columbia Bank, which we do our cash deposits to. And you have one to Columbia Bank through, which used to be Pacific Premier, which is what Fieldstone also has access to. I guess there's a couple of solutions. If there is a supplier of, in Madras that provides the parts that Steve needs to maintain the gates, or if there's a couple of those folks, if there's a way to establish terms with them, that would work. But in the, right now, it doesn't seem like anybody's a hand raiser to get a debit card. And so it creates problems. Now, there is a $200 petty cash fund, or should be a $200 petty cash fund in the office. We could raise that amount and say take it to $1,000 or something like that, which would free up a little more cash for emergency purchases or something like that. But if nobody's willing to take on the responsibility of taking getting a debit card through Pacific Premier through the Fieldstone account, I don't really have any viable solutions other than somebody.
In this case, these are budgeted items. We have, he's got a maintenance line item in his budget. Steve does, to take care of this stuff. When I got a card, it was really designed specifically for the volunteer fund to go out and buy hamburgers and hot dogs and stuff for the big bingo weekends and that type of stuff. But that's not tied to a specific account. Are you okay with me working with the office and Steve, saying, hey, we got a battery we need to replace, or as long as we communicate, are you good with that?
I'm absolutely fine with that.
Supplies.
So, the company the name of the gate company is SunPower Gates. They're in California. They do credit card over the phone. If debit card, you need the PIN number. Did we have a debit card before? Because they had that card on file, and I could order relays and such that are only through that company, and they charge it. They have the card on file.
A debit card also acts like a credit card, so you don't need a PIN number, nor should you ever give somebody your PIN number to your debit card. They can be run as either a debit card or a credit card.
Okay, all right. So for SunPower, I definitely need that. I'm sure we could arrange, so that parts store that I gave you the information on, that's where we bought the batteries. Very convenient, so we can get a starting battery for the generator there also. That's no problem. And I'm sure that they'll do an account for us.
They
probably.
do accounts.
Yeah, so we
They
can
always have
set up
me.
an account with them. That's great. So yeah, the SunPower one was the big one. And then what I would also do before is I'd go to Amazon if I could find it cheaper. They had hardware or whatever. This battery backup system, probably could get it off of Amazon or Home Depot, or not Home Depot, Best Buy. What I would do with before would just send the treasurer that, hey, I need this, and the treasurer would get all the information, and then next thing I know, I just got it, and it's shipped to us.
And
So is that possible?
I'd be perfectly happy to do that, Steve. In fact, I can have, I have an Amazon account, and I can add another payment, in the short term, and have shipped directly to the Three Rivers office if it's stuff that you can wait a couple of days for. That's not a problem. Just shoot me an email with what you want, and I'll fire it out.
Perfect. So I have one thing in the future that I'll need from SunPower, but these backup batteries, I'll research that and I will send you the information on it, the links and such, and then you can just buy it and ship it to the office. That'd be great.
Great. All right. Next issue.
I'm gonna stick with one. I'll let the rest of them.
Okay.
Hey, can I throw something in?
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, on that same note, can the office send you their Amazon request for office supplies also, like, printer ink or what have you?
Yeah, absolutely. That's not a
Okay,
problem at all.
perfect.
Oh, I just have a short one. Library's permanently closed.
Yay.
Hey,
Good.
Items in the garbage business.
Let's table that one.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anything else on the agenda? This got kind of popped on me last second that we need to deal with. Prep, vote counting process. Do we know who's count, how many people do we have count? Oh, here's my question. Will the votes, at the annual meeting, as we look at the timeline of the annual meeting, one of the reasons I never go to the annual meeting, because it's too frickin' long and it takes forever. And it's kind of people, it's the same people that kind of bitch, but so we're trying to make it shorter. But I'm also concerned that you need time to count votes. And so a lot of times what I heard at the last meeting is we have all this filler stuff in there to just really give you guys time to do what you need to do. So my question is, are all the emails or not emails, vote by electronic votes and people that vote via mail-in, we will have, based on that timeline, we'll have a week worth of vote counting time. And will we do that and then use only the incremental votes that are cast at the meeting to total that up? Or do we wait and count all the votes at the meeting?
Count them all at the meeting.
Why wouldn't we use that week?
Well, okay, now we're into some new water here. with
Okay.
Electronic voting.
Yep.
Okay, so we don't know what that's gonna produce in volume.
Yep.
So that could answer your question right there.
Right.
Once then you can see that there's no doubles.
Right. Okay. All right.
And the counting, I'll go in with, I got Jessica will be one of the counters. I was gonna ask Tammy, because I know she probably knows some of the gals that were there last year, but previously we've always pulled from the crowd. Just random, hey, can you come count? Will you help count? Will you help count?
Okay.
That way it's not a
Fixed. Yeah. That makes sense. People are like, oh, we're stacking the, right? You don't want
Correct.
that type of.
And then when we do count, it will take everything we have and divide it in piles. And each pile gets counted by 3 different people.
Okay, perfect.
And if there's any discrepancies, then it goes to a different.
They get counted again.
And they gets counted again.
Okay. All right. I don't think is there anything else we need to cover today, guys, or can we just make a motion to adjourn?
Quickly about the annual meeting, don't forget we approve the 24 minutes, so that's gonna have to be on your schedule.
24. Okay. So, so Ed and I talked about that specifically. That is going to be part of the plan. What I had recommended he do is somebody's going to have to make a motion from the floor to not do 24 and 25 or 20.
So
20.
what I will do is I will read the minutes, the 24 minutes, and ask
For motion
to approve
24 minutes.
the amended 24 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, if we'll get that out of the way, then I can go to the 25s.
25.
Read those back. If there's
So here's what I had recommended to Ed. There's one gentleman that always has thought about old minutes and parliamentary procedures and whatever.
He'll be there.
And he'll be there. So whatever we're planning on reading out, what I wanted to do is have Ed work with him saying, hey, this is what the plan is. And we're going to ask for, somebody to make a motion from the floor to approve it. And I'd like to have him be that guy because he's the one that always raises his hand and talks for an hour.
well, the 24 minutes are going to be the ones that he's amended.
Right.
So we shouldn't have a problem with that one.
Exactly. And is there any anticipated issues on the 25 minutes?
Who knows?
Okay.
Might ask him.
Well, I'm all for like people that we know are really paying attention. Let's just tell them, hey, this is what we're doing. And we want this to be a smooth meeting. So if they already know that there's an issue, let's deal with it up front. And so that we're not dealing with it in the meeting.
Now what these monthly meetings are for We get, what do we have? 2 people on Zoom.
Yeah, 3.
We got nobody watching this stuff.
Right.
This first time he hasn't been here though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually he is.
Right. But anyway, I'm just saying that like we had, you know, and I'll say this openly. I mean, what's his, Marthaler has had, you know, he's very opinionated about certain things. And he's frustrated with some of the past leadership. And I just called him and I said, hey, you have time to meet? And I've met with him like 3 or 4 times over the last year. And we sit down, we talk, and I listen, and you know, and then, you know, that goes a long way to just like keeping things at peace. So I like to think that if we just listen to people, be respectful to people, and you know, so that they're heard, then we don't have people. We're not a target when we're sitting at the meeting and, you know, looking for a fight. I mean, nobody's looking for a fight. We're just trying to get through this stuff, and so if a, you know, spending a half an hour over coffee with the guy saying, hey, here's our plan, this is the motion, boom, boom, boom. You know, like love for you to be the guy that makes the motion from the floor, you know, so he's not surprised. I think that'd be great. So
I like to ask a question.
yeah.
What Ed texted this morning or last night about the rules and regs. What are we supposed to do now?
So I sat in on that meeting. Tammy did as well.
We haven't changed anything. Most of these rules have been like this forever.
Right. And his comment was not that they've been in place forever, but they you know, that they're not quite,
They weren't good
they weren't good in the first place, right? And so it's like, are you amending something that's still not good, or do you take the time to like make the change now? You know, and I mean, the reality is, as I look at this, you know, we had years worth of nobody had their eye on the ball on the rules and reg. You know,
We've been trying so hard.
and you guys have been working your ass to like try to get this stuff done. So you know,
Our committee is going to be really
right. So if we want to adopt the changes that you guys made at that meeting and make the changes with the caveat that probably at some time we're going to need to go through and clean up some of our documents. I don't have a problem.
attorney friend and get looks too.
Well, I mean, everybody's got an attorney friend. I just don't like to write checks to attorneys.
We'll have to with my friend.
And you know, so his guidance was, you know, don't make amendments to something that's still kind of bad. But I mean, you guys didn't really change much. You just kind of cleaned it up, really.
Yeah.
And make it, you know, make it so that it's clear that if people make mistakes, then they know that
I feel I should have been in that meeting.
yeah,
And I'm kind of pissed off about it.
Yeah, in retrospect,
Say that, Kyle?
yeah, in retrospect, I wish I went to that meeting for, you know, on a different topic. I wasn't prepared at all to talk about the rules and regs stuff. But that's what I heard. He just like, listen, your documents in general and Three Rivers documents legally are not real clean. And so the question is, how much money do we want to spend to make them cleaner?
Or just get rid of them.
Or yeah, you know, get rid of them, you
I
know.
was just gonna say, we have.
I do agree
see-
that Mike should have been in on that meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tammy.
We have CCNRs that dirt. and
Right.
Need 75% of the vote to pass. We have bylaws that need to be updated.
Right.
And Tammy is got nothing to do with architectural because no one's filling out a form.
Right.
So why do we have?
Right.
Why do we put ourselves through
Agreed.
that much trouble?
Agreed.
If we're not going to police it, which I don't think anybody wants to police it.
Exactly. You know,
You wanna go out and find buildings that need a building permit?
all right. So I suggest we adjourn.
I'm gonna bring up.
Yep. Nope.
To get this off the plate.
Yep.
The email came out, Michelle has resigned from doing the cash drops.
Okay.
She no longer is gonna participate in this.
Okay.
got that all explained in there. I would like to, propose that Mary take this over.
Ooh.
And do the cash drops, a second count and the cash drops. And this needs to be
Have you-
a position and mileage to
Yeah.
do the cash drops.
And what's the anticipated? We don't have a line item in the budget for that now. I've always thought that should be a paid position. So
You have enough in the, employee budget to cover it because you spread it all the way across the year and added, so you had buffer in there.
do you have an estimated number of hours that this would take?
I'm guesstimating probably it's gonna a couple hours for the drop and whatever it takes for the,
How many times, Tom, how many times you want to drop?
Once a month is fine.
How about in the summertime when when we actually get a lot of cash?
And
want it twice a month,
summertime, twice a month would be good.
So I'm fine. So I'm fine with that. And anything Mary touches, I'm happy with.
to move this on, I'll put something together. I just want to make sure that everybody's okay with proceeding with Mary on this.
Yeah, well, yes. So I am.
Good with that?
Do you want me to leave the room?
Well, so I have one question that, and it's just something that changed in the last year, I think. So this position has always been someone that works kind of tightly, if not directly, for the treasurer, and it's not necessarily an office function. And we kind of purposely separated them because we didn't want to have now. So I don't. The treasurer is going to be new in March, April, 1st or whatever. But I just think organizationally, we need to think like, who does this person? Is this an office function or is this a treasury function?
I don't think it belongs in the office. I don't think the girls that are doing the counts daily need to be a part of the second count at all. I think the optics on that are absolutely horrible. I think it needs to come from somebody outside, so.
Yeah.
I agree with Dave. I think it's more like, an assistant treasurer position.
And the only thing, which is what it used to be, what we're changing it is it's going to be paid. We're giving them a little bit of money to take care of it. So,
No, that's
so I'm,
fair enough. I mean, it's what, 18, maybe 18 sessions a year?
yeah, I mean, we're talking less than like $2,000.
Yeah, possibly.
I'm sure we can accommodate that.
It's the cash influx coming into the office. It's that drop thing, like you're saying it. I mean, yeah, a monthly and as needed, bi-monthly. But I just don't see maybe 2 months, 3 months out of the year.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking, May, June, so,
Oh, yeah, 15, 16 maybe.
Yep, my only problem would be is I sometimes go on vacation for a month, so that would be the only issue.
Well, I mean, we're gonna
Doing that, Mary, theoretically.
Take it in.
It's historically it's been May, but I think this year it's probably going to be September, October.
So that's
Next year, I mean.
time, yeah.
I'm sure we can find a proxy.
Yeah.
No. All right, so
And I just want to make sure everybody's good with it.
we'll put some detail behind it. I think it's a fantastic plan. I like it. I mean, I'm sorry to see, I'm hoping Michelle is still kind of all in on the communication side, I hope.
That's not changed.
Okay, good. Good. I think that's a good direction.
I agree.
We need to, it can be done.
Well, I think he's gonna
Put
put some detail around it.
It's gonna be a month. You okay with that?
Well, we just to do a cash drop.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention to that part.
All right, any other open topics?
Yeah, but I'll put it up.
Right. Okay. Make a motion, we adjourn at, what time is it?
12:07.
12:07. Have a second? Okay.
Tammy,
Aye.
Tom,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
Yes, for me.
Maylette needs a pair too. I think they'll fit.
Maybe Sharon.
All right, guys.
Did you get any socks? Here, this is right